Hey there, how is it going? It is Patriots Inside the Wire right now. I'm going to tell you right now, go grab your friends, go grab your family members, let them watch this show, tell them they need to see what is coming up. This is it's not going to be a lifetime. This is a once in a every type of kind that you are going to find. A show where your hosts are two Gold Star moms. Gold Star moms, we'll get into that in a moment. Not only that, we have a great musician with us on board tonight. And you know what? I'm just glad to be here. Military Monday Mamas, baby. Let's get rolling. Get your friends. Let's share this and check it out. We got a show for you.
Giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Someone who was willing to give his life for his country and served honorably in Iraq.
Signed our names with no regrets. Only wanted to be the best that we could be. And we wanted this and nothing more than to be true down to the core. We thought we'd live forever, but when the full moon is bright and the wind blows just right, I can hear your voice on the wind.
I should have left it. I came back on the perfect day, really. But you know what? It's really more like
21 guns into the night till we meet again on the other side. 21 guns. This is goodbye till we meet again on the other side. Yeah, 21 guns.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
It's great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hey, how are you doing out there? That lovely intro we have as a great friend and Marine to us here at the show of Patriots Inside the Wire. Patriots Inside the Wire, many of you, if you've joined us, you do know that we are not just military. We are Patriots. We are military. We are Gold Star families. We are Border Patrol. We are our officers. We are fire. We are Patriots, okay? That is what we are. We are the ones. We are the Constitution. We are the people. We will make things happen because we will get involved. Wait till you meet two Gold Star moms and find out what they are. Put them together, and I guarantee you we'll get some laws passed. Wait for this show to come up. Hope everybody's doing great. Military Monday. Thank you so much to Heroes Media Group, number one. Thank you. Well, him up there. Sorry, not me. Then Heroes Media Group, and then JMT, as well as shout out to Phil Cook and his family for all that they're doing right now. There are too many people to name. We have a lot that's coming up in this show tonight, but it's good stuff. It's stuff that we want you to know. This is called an opportunity to understand. This is what we want to do, is educate. I get asked so many times, what Gold Star, like sticker or, huh? And I'm always, you're nice. Like, be nice here because, people aren't used to this. Even military terms, like, let's go there. Like, there's multi areas that maybe we just need to sit back and go, let's just learn a little bit here, get to know each other, be kind, rewind, and keep things in mind. How about that? We got a lot of singers, songwriting, because that's my passion. And I guarantee you, anybody on my show, we're going to say music is medicinal. How about that? Let's share. I feel like I sound like Matthew McConaughey right now. So what I'm going to do is bring up my guest co-host, who will probably be with us every Monday night from now on. Here she comes. There she is, Miss Heather Baker. You are muted. You can unmute yourself there, dear. Miss Heather Baker. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Well, good. It is so good to see you, number one. And listen, everybody, if you don't know us or you do, we did not coordinate this. It's like, I'm a hat person. Everybody knows that. And I have a black one. I have all this. I was like, should I wear black? Should I wear the white hat? So I think we're in sync tonight. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Everybody's going good. We got some things coming up for you. I see messages already, but what we'd like to do is, you know what? Take a deep breath real quick. Say hello. Share this with your friends. I see your messages. We are more than grateful. We want you to join in. We want you to know exactly in the kindest way we can, multiple areas. And we have fun too. So you just can't hold it against me. How about that? All right. Heather, how has it been? You are on vacation this summer. What is going on?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing so many things. Just honestly, today I've just been working outside in the yard and just trying to take some deep breaths like you're mentioning and just recalibrate. It was really great to see you a couple weeks ago in Fort Hood / Passos now. And it was just kind of a monumental moment for me, for you, and for Margie Taylor, and for all of us to hang out and meet. And it's very important to connect when you can with someone that has a similar
situation. To kind of explain that. Heather Baker here is the mother of PB2, Caleb. We call him Smitty, and there's a reason she's going to tell you in a minute. I am a Gold Star mother as well. I am Sergeant. Looky there. There he is. Smitty. Sergeant Two-Step. I'm sure you've heard that name if you've paid attention to the show. His pictures are there. Plus Dolly, by the way. That is not me. Our last guest was literally like, is that? I'm like, that is not me. But yes, I do love her. He's all behind me. Like, this is how we are, right? Gold Star mothers. I guess let's piece this together really quick. So Sergeant Two-Step back. We'll change this up for you. You'll get to see that here in a second. We are mothers that, number one. Number two. Nice to see you, Brent. Thank you so much. I will be. Thank you so much, Aaron. I cannot wait for y'all to see what we got coming on. Thank you so much. I see your comments, and I will get to that. I want to do just a little brief thing, if I could, and it is Gold Star mothers. Okay. I say Gold Star family because there are siblings that are affected by this, which is Cash, little brother. Claire is the little sister of Caleb. So we got Cash, we got Caleb's little sister, and there's C in there too. So it's like we have all these things that are so much in common. And what, like maybe 3 years ago, I would say it's been about 3 years that we met while I was working on legislation. And she's like, well, I'm coming up and I'm going to do this, or that. And I'm like, well, yeah, come on up. Like, stay at my house, whatever, like, this is how I am. Okay. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, come on. And she's like, where are you asleep? I'm like, in my bed. What's wrong with that, y'all? Like, come on, it's just like a sleepover. Just because we're adults does not mean we need to be like living life so serious that we are forgetting.
Well, when you get caught up in conversation and you're just like exhausted, it's just hang out time.
It is. It's like giving that quality time about a subject that we don't want you to be in our
we want to be in comfort while we're having to describe hell.
Right. Well, not only that, right? Living it ourselves. I mean, okay, let me get to it. Gold Star family is what I say, because we have fathers, we have siblings. What it is you have 2 words, everybody listen to me. Active duty. That's 2 words. Active duty, all right? And that's in the military. You've got a LOD. That means your line of duty. Your line of duty investigation is good, because however, whenever, wherever you were killed while serving, you took an oath, foreign and domestic.
Right.
You were not supposed to be where you were at. You were there because you were ready to serve. You were ready to fight. You fought in wars. You survived. And you know what? You don't need to tell me anything after that, is what I'm going to tell you, because you have no idea what happens. And you have no idea at the moment when something happens to someone that is a mother, a family. I would not have the balls to walk up to someone and say, well, you're not included, or you're. And I'm like, okay, block the noise. Let's all like chill out here a little bit. This is where I get to my music. Let me explain something to you. When I work with something, it was called the DOD. When I work with something, it's called our government, right? Our government, property, our children. I don't think that way. I'm sorry. No offense out there. I have a lot of good relationships with our military still. But what I mean is being a mom and trying to say that someone else owns my baby, doesn't work for me. So we got heavily involved with Military Homes Texas. We did a lot of good. I had met a Gold Star mother while running Military Homes in Texas. And I remember looking at the other ladies and I said, you know what? If that's ever me, I really need you to run and check on me, because there's no way I could stand here and be like that. I can't do it. Even with him just it's the Army in here, by the way. Army. Woo! Yeah. It's HUA. It's HUA. Trust me, I get corrected. I'm okay. Hey, I like to learn too. Gold Star families. We are Gold Star moms. Our sons, both Army soldiers. You got PD2 Caleb, Sergeant Adam Two-Step, infantry for Adam, paratrooper, right, Heather? We've got our paratrooper. We've got Caleb. You've got 2 scenarios here, right? So, and I get this too. This is going to be interesting.
Kinds of non-combat deaths.
I was going to go there. I'm going to let you go there in a second.
Versions, yeah.
I'm going to let you do that in a second. I wanted to say again, you tell me 2 things, because that's what it is. And don't tell me it's different, because I will pull it up for you. I will give you the legislation. Don't go looking at World War I, World War II like that. You know, we didn't have technology. We didn't have the internet. It was like, come on, y'all. Like, be kind, common sense. This is what it is. Now, don't get all scared and run away. We want to be invited. We want to be included. Like, hey, yeah, this is going on. Would y'all like to come check it out? Heck yeah. Like, we're left out too. And it reminds me of the military transitioning out. Right. Where do you go? Where do you fit? So I was like, man, I would really love to connect our veterans with the Gold Star family. And I've seen it, and I have seen what it has done, and it is amazing. And it led me here. It led me to now being on this show, and we have Heroes Media Group to shout out for him. I have too many, so I'm going to be careful here. SOS is Survivor Outreach Services. Heather mentioned a moment ago. I say Fort Hood. It is Fort Cav now. It's hard for me to change, but I'm learning. We just had our first event there. You know what? I had people say to me, why in the world would you go on that base? That's the worst base in the world. And I'm like, you know what? The biggest person that helped me, literally, in my case, when my son was killed, was the main guy at SOS. Now, how are you going to tell me that I can't go to a base where we've got active duty soldiers serving, probably just graduated out of school like our sons, I don't forget. I'm not leaving behind any veteran. I'm not leaving behind the family, and especially an active duty service member that could have been my son at that time. Right. So, Heather,
we have to lead in the steps in light of our soldiers. Like we, you know, as Army soldiers, but service members. You know, it's each one of us story.
Well, Heather, it is each branch. Heather's very familiar with a lot of things. As I've been working on the Two-Step Act, we'll pull that background up in a minute. Let's go back a little bit, Heather, and why don't we give them just some nice information? So I'll say this: Sergeant Two-Step, my son, firstborn son, loved to tease me, run around the house with those stinky socks, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? Like football, then military. I was like, oh my goodness, this cannot get worse. And it did. I mean, those socks. Woo! And then he'd run around and he'd like pinch me, be like, cheese. That was our code word, by the way. Cheese. I was like, cheese. So yes, we were goofy like that all the time, singing, pranking, you name it. He took care of his little brothers and sisters and like was just the person that made me. I did not make him. I don't know how else to say that, but it is so true. And he did not deserve what happened to him. He had gone to war, fought, got stuck over there during a let me go back 2 presidents. He was under 2 different presidents. It was not under Trump. I am not advertising for any president right now. What I'm telling you is he was there way too long. So I have a experience that's like, are you kidding me? We swear an oath, foreign and domestic. I never really thought that oath for domestic was going to be needed. Like not near my son, especially like Two-Step. He's saying Two-Step, a 2-headed snake. Boom, boom, you're out. Like get him behind you, take him on missions.
The non-combat situation.
Go for it. It is your turn. Go for it,
out of control. I mean, I never thought in a million years that my son would die on enemy territory on a base he swore to defend, you know? And when I found out the research that Congress did about 2019, it says 75% of our service members die non-combat, and of that 75%, 94% die on U.S. soil. Like I mentioned, on a base they swear to defend. Very shocking to learn this from the back end here, you know, and yeah, it's it's instant boots on the ground when you start seeing, like, I mean, it's like ground zero on a death when you have a notification. You have, you know, for me, it was like they notified us basically the next day. And then like 10 hours later, my casualty assistance officer comes through, and, you know, it's just one. And then you start seeing the red flags and questioning things like why it's taking 3 weeks to get his body home. And there's just like so many things that happen. It's just a whirlwind of things. I don't have to explain it to you. Your story with Adam and what you guys went through is unbelievable on a civilian level and a military level. But you know, it's been quite a journey, and it's brought a lot of challenges, and it's grown me. I've hatched, so to speak. This little dragon has hatched, you know, and you know, it's a beautiful pain. It's a grief that is hard to bear, and it is a green mile walk, you know. So
yeah, I mean, Heather,
I'm in it to the end is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
I'm not, you know, but it is, it's no a bit of like a death march, you know. It's a bit of a walking zombie like feeling inside, and I know many of our veterans feel you know, the pangs of PTSD and you know, like panic attacks and things like myself, you know, it's just, it's a tough road, you know, any kind of battle that we go through that's very wounding. And I scarred myself deeply by investigating my son's death and seeing his autopsy photos and his death scene photos and things like that, that have created this, you know, little bit different human being, you know, but it's, it makes
it is hard to explain.
It makes it a lot easier to handle when I meet like you. I began to meet other Gold Star families with non-combat deaths, you know, and I started to really see the research kind of coming, you know, alive in front of me with all the stories that would come my way and your way, because we both have been on the front lines together for at least 3.5 years
Since we met, right? Watchdogs. We started out with
we did. We started out Gold Star Watchdogs, which
was Adam's unit in Iraq. So we were like
awesome.
Watchdogs.
And we still are the Gold Star Watchdogs. We call ourselves a lot of things. I say Mothers of the Fallen, you know. We morph.
One thing we are our Gold Star families. To everyone listening out there, if you're serving active duty and you're not back home, you didn't choose to take off your uniform, it's active duty, you are a Gold Star family. I want to make that clear, and some people know why I need to make that clear, but I refuse to have any more phone calls, any more anything where I have a mom crying. I've had fathers, and I won't name names, because people are tearing each other up to say, you don't belong. No, you're not, because you weren't killed overseas. And I'm like, whoa,
right.
Hold on. I'll talk to you, but let me also get some of our resources available to you that can actually handle something like this. But I've received one too many calls, and anybody that knows me, look, I'm quiet until I'm not. And then when you open it up, it's like, you can't close it. How are you going to close that? Like, you can't. It's like, how do you say no? And how do you just go, oh, I'm done? Doesn't work like that. The human emotion.
You guys created this mess. You created this situation, you know.
Yeah, and keep calling. I mean, anything we don't know from fighting, and we do not mean, yes, ma'am, makes us a Gold Star family. I see that message. We see
right
a lot
of families with different situations is a situation. We see lots of, you know, different kinds of non-combat deaths, and we've had lots of stories come our way. A lot of, when I say stories, I mean like SOSs, like help, you know, what do I do? Where do I start? And we all try to just jump in there, point people in the right direction to other Gold Star families that have had similar circumstances, or maybe they need to know how to go file a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, just like what steps to take to lift their head above water and even try to, find out any kind of information. Like to get Caleb's,
Caleb, her firstborn son, yes.
We have filled out many FOIAs, many. My attorney has helped me so much. Daniel Maharaj.
Shout out to Daniel.
For a lot of us Gold Stars and that have these non-combat deaths.
Well, what I have to say to that is that number one, Patriots Inside the Wire, man, we have someone backstage waiting, and like I can see the sunset. It's beautiful. It's already dark here. Sorry about that. I'm like,
we have some music coming up later, I think.
Yeah, we do. We do have music coming up. I did want to point this out. Patriots Inside the Wire. I can only speak. Well, I am on a couple of other ones, but let me speak about Patriots Inside the Wire. Patriots Inside the Wire, usually a military individual, our officers, fire, they usually understand what that means. Inside the wire, you're in the safe zone. You're outside that wire. I know it from him being on missions in other countries. And so I said, look, this is not just our military. This is our country. It is our patriots. It is our each branch of the military. It is our veterans. It's active duty officers, fire, first responders. I mean, we have to all come together and figure this out. And not only do that, but honor those who gave us the freedom, First Amendment, Second Amendment, freedom of speech. Hey, if you're a reporter or whatever you're doing, the only reason you're doing it is because they served. All right. Those that served got you there. Same thing to politicians. I always walk right in. I don't care. You get dressed just like me. If I vote, I put in, I paid my taxes, you got your job because of that. Hey, I'm being nice about it, but what I'm letting you know is we are including this all inside the wire. We are not just one. We are one of many. And so, but tonight with Heather, I'd like for you to actually share some statistics for us. What are the statistics for us as far as what are known as Gold Star families, especially when they're killed and die active duty? What are those statistics right now as far as bases or overseas? Can you give me some of that information?
Well, like I mentioned before, Congress did some research around 2019, I believe, that says that 75% of our service members die non-combat deaths. And then of that 75%, 94% die on U.S. soil.
Yes, ma'am. So say that again. 94%. Yeah, 94% die on our own soil. Are you hearing this? I mean, I hear it and I'm getting like...
So that leaves like 25% that die in a combat situation, you know.
There are so many things that happen that we want you to understand that number one, to judge, don't come here judging, go somewhere else, because right now the only person who's going to judge me is up there. Number two, it is so wrong to approach a family who has lost a child or lost a brother or lost someone and say, you don't belong. We don't want you here. They didn't die in the middle of war. Hey, right. It's been said to me, I'm not a liar. I'm sorry, but I just can't lie. I mean, I'm one of those people, I'm like, oh my goodness, the karma, what's going to happen?
I've heard people say the only way to be a Gold Star family is if you have a service member that dies in combat. I've heard it said through microphones in some of the organizations that runs a lot of the, you know, memorial type events in my city anyway. So it's say your state disappointing and sad. And it's definitely traumatized me because we, like Caleb was, you know, 19 years old and he didn't do anything wrong. He died negligent homicide and medical malpractice. He also his battle buddies literally left him in his room to rot for 6.5 days and to the 5th stage of decomposition. If you look on the internet, there's so many stories that talk about, you know, his roommate was spraying Febreze to cover up the smell of his dead body. Guys, it's horrid. And
Heather, you know that I know your story because of, well, knowing you so well. It is. I mean, I am going to say something that, listen, I have a child in my home who didn't get to know his big brother. And that's why I've always been like, man, I need to meet veterans, just connect. He needs to understand, why did his brother join the military? You know, just as basic like that. You know him well. You know Cash very well. You know why he's named Cash. We just don't tell everybody else. To try to say that his brother is not something that he actually is like beyond me. Like, why do we need to go there with people? Like, is this a competition?
Well, it's just strange how on the other side of things, you think everybody's going to get along. We're all Gold Star families. Oh no, you realize that there's a huge divide between combat death families and non-combat death families. And it's not all families that feel this way. A
No,
lot of it's perpetuated by just misunderstanding
it
and
only takes one.
be educated. I understand the old ways. I understand, think times are different, there's technology has flooded our world, and things are just not the same anymore. And the frontline fighting that I've had to do is to tighten up, batten down the hatches a little bit. If my whole thing is if how they're gonna do things over here is how they're gonna do things when they get over to a situation that is in combat. When
Right.
you practice what is going to happen, everybody knows that that's how it works. I mean, I'm a competitive shooter. I do, all my dry fire practice before a match. If I don't do that, I'm not going to be fresh and ready to go. And you have to go every single day. What are my creeds? What are the things that, what is my leadership? How is my leadership leading me? Leadership is so important. And it is important to hold leadership accountable. I keep reaching for the top to the leadership in Caleb's situation needed to be addressed and held accountable. And through a lot of my, letters that I've written to I don't know, just
Senate, Congress, everybody.
Congress and the Secretary of the Army and just whoever would listen, beating the drum and popping my little pop guns up in the air.
Yeah.
Get just, hey, SOS. It's
Survivor Outreach Services. Now that's for Army. Marines, I know it's between your FRGs and everything else. So trust me, Heather, I'm taking up for us here. I'm making sure that we cover the bases, because if we just shout out one thing, I'm always like, hey, chill out a little bit here. There is an interesting comment, when someone's going to come on in a bit here that has been in the military. We did get started a little late, so you want to stay late to see this. He's talking about that it is the same. I mean, the MOS. So an MOS in the military really means which position you are at in a job, and your combat arms or the combat support. So this is why from the beginning I've been saying, where are the veterans? Like, I want to connect to veterans, and then you connect them to the families. And I have actually been, what I would say, saved and pulled up out of the trenches sometimes because of, well, Heather, you're one of them. You're a Gold Star mom. You're one that I've gotten close to. And you kind of keep a wall up. It may look like I don't, but trust me, I do. And then, what they do. So infantry, Adams infantry all the way. And that's 2-step, my son. And that meant mission after mission. And then, listen, folks, if you really think people are joining the military and they're sitting behind a desk all day just because they're not overseas fighting, seriously, what do you think they're doing? They're at war every single day, pretending and getting the masses together to go deploy if it's needed. So everything they're doing is to prepare and fight and go to war. So don't tell me, that doesn't work. If they did not choose to take off that uniform, that's where I stop right there. They didn't take it off. They were forced. Whatever way that may be, I'm going to leave that to each family. That's their precious thing that they can share if they want. But right now I have you, I have me. And look up twostepback.com if you want to know more about Sergeant Two-Step. It's not what you think. It has a lot to do with trafficking. It has a lot to do with the way that you can rent a car, because they don't check IDs. There's never been a law at a rental agency. Hey, got a DUI? Got someone that crossed that border that shouldn't be here? got a situation you'd like to put in a car to put somewhere? I
Things you
can't
don't
say the
think
name.
about.
Things you don't think about. They knocked on my door. I was frozen like in the corner of my couch. Like, you've got the wrong house. Like, this is not me. Unfortunately, I had, and a lot of people that follow me know this, I knew something was wrong. I wrote a letter, I wrote text, you name it. I could show it right now that were like, oh my goodness. He's like, Mom, no, he'd already been home with my cancer for the surgery. Yes, he's laid in my bed too. And we watched Roadhouse. And I remember his buddy calling and going, what are you doing? He's like, I'm laying down with my mom who had surgery. We're watching Roadhouse. They gave him all kinds of hell. And I was like, you tell them one thing, Sam Elliott. All right. You just tell them Sam Elliott. And he said, don't have to tell him anything. You're my mom. So I was like, oh, I love you. To lose that, you can't put a price on it. You can't. And then I got a civilian in the country that's done it. Why the hell isn't everyone else in our country and around me even just to get, Heather, I have been all over. I have been to where I had it. It was being pushed through by a president. I won't say who. It is not this one right now, though. I will say that. And I had to start all over again. So it is a journey that we go through. And like Heather right now, I mean, I've got, it's two-step back. Check the damn license. I mean, they already charge you for it. I hope y'all know this. In the States, I'm like, damn, just keep the money. Keep the money. If you don't care about somebody dying, you know how much money you can make. But as far as Caleb, I wanted to say to you, you are just here at my home. Cash, Cash loves you. Cash plays the guitar, and he's got like that creative side in him that I love that helps me too. And so do you, Heather. You mentioned Febreze earlier. They had to spray Febreze instead of opening the door to check. Before you got to our home, I didn't even know I had a bottle of it. My own son, younger, Cash, went in the living room and like knew that was there. I didn't even know it was there. It was like behind the TV or something. He went and moved it and hid it, Heather.
Oh.
Yeah. I did not even know until we were gone and you were, I went.
It's one of those little triggers for me.
Well, but I was like, wow, he gets it more than I can talk to someone for hours. And this kid, I didn't know we had it, number one. Number two, where it was. You probably wouldn't have seen it, but just in case, I was like, whoa, they're paying attention. Our kids are paying attention, number one. So I will never quit. I am not a quitter.
And precious of him.
We don't quit, right? What do you want us to do? It's like, okay, do you want me to
go drive? I usually drive us.
Yeah.
Around because of how Adam,
what happened to him. She's correct. I had very bad PTSD. National awareness, by the way, is coming up for everyone out there that needs help. Remember 988. You can give them a call. If it's not that, call up a buddy. Got your 6. It still counts with us too. We will forever be tied to the military. I don't know if you realize this. As Gold Star families, we are forever tied now. We get our ID that has Survivor written across the top really big. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but Heather and I recently were at the PX, which I don't go in. And I'll tell you what, you want to see somebody fired up. You think I get fired up. I haven't seen it yet. But Heather, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to check out like of this PX, and it's late. I like hear a promotion, and I turn. I'm like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "Nope." And I'm like, "What's happening?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I bet I know they are not taking our Survivor military card, are they? They aren't. I know they're not." And she looked at me and she blank, beep, beep, blank. Yes. I'm like beeping out the words.
It's not like I have a, like North Face jacket that I'm there buying.
Fine.
I have a little folded flag pin that only
just
somebody like me would get. There's the soldier's memorial with the helmet and the gun, the rifle and the boots. A couple, hey, I'm an Army mom stickers, you know, like, can you just like stop and think about, like, you know, it ends me in tears every time. And it's happened on a number of occasions, even on the base at the memorial, Caleb's memorial at the PX. We went to the PX to go just check out the exchange. It was something that Caleb and I used to do for the very short time he was in the Army, 7.5 months. It's shocking. But we were at several bases because he had graduations and such. And, you know, it's just very memorable for me shopping with him. He got to pick out his first, you know, another pair of boots, you know, his first pair after boot camp, you know, like it was a special moment, you know, and he bought it with his own money that he earned, you know, in boot camp. And
it's not much money, by the way.
No, he got another phone. He just like, I mean, like it was special memories, and he had just passed away. And I'm like standing at his memorial, and even my casualty assistance officer was standing there, and he actually, you know, was walking us in and out of these places, escorting us. And it was just like, what the heck? And he had to tell him, hey, come on. Like, they're here for a memorial. Like, it was not like we were, like I said, it was like a t-shirt. I bought a t-shirt that said Ranger on it because Caleb wanted to be a Ranger, and I bought I can't even wear that stuff anymore. But it was important to me for him to have it or something weird, you know, when I was there. And we've had trouble with the PXs this whole time, and it's frustrating because it's not like I said, I'm not trying to break the bank here, you know, it's memorial memory items that I'm purchasing, you know, have a heart, you know, I'm standing on the base that my son died on. I don't even really want to be here right now. Can you please just let me buy these few things for $25? Thank you. I mean, and here Tracy and I are standing there at Fort Hood.
I immediately did something too. I was like,
calls our friend.
I'm like, hello.
Just put her on the list.
I said, put it on the list.
Is that it is? Come on. It's a very little small thing. It's something that is like gives us just a little bit of comfort, and it should be worth it. Like, it's a small price to pay for the life that was given. Come on. Caleb will never get to be a veteran and have his card and get to go on bases. The least they can do is allow us to have those memorial moments, you know, and be able to have the honor of carrying that torch, so to speak. We don't have to have all of the benefits and all the things,
we don't.
Just like
people think that we do. People really do think that we do, that we get all this. No, when you're married and you have children, it's a whole different world. When it's a different situation, we do not.
Yeah.
And we don't ever get that. We don't ever get to see it. We don't ever get to go there. We automatically are cut off.
A hard thing to handle is whenever you're at the checkout and they say, hey, are you military, you know, or, you know, first responder? And I'm like, no, but my son was. And then it just starts the whole thing again. If I could just go, here, thank you. My son served, and here's this, you know, like it just, like, I don't have to go into it's a little bit of I want to say a lot of PTSD.
Yes.
What I'm going through. My son was like
drives.
Just a young man who was about to get his whole life started. I had whole plans for his life too. Being a parent, mirroring into his life, you know, like it's just what we do. I mean,
watch out for the girls at the bases, though, if you're serving and listening.
Yeah, please
Right.
watch into those. I've heard from so many mothers out there that have had after the, their
There's a name for it, and I can't remember it right now, but I bet when we bring on our military singer here in a minute, he will tell us.
let me just say, without going into detail, it's a real deal.
It's a real deal, and sometimes
Real
those
deal. And
mamas
it's
teach them.
crushing when they've only known your child for 2.5 days, and then they suddenly pass away, and then you don't get their belongings. You get absolutely nothing. You have zero rights to anything.
It
So,
is something we should not. Wow, our producer has laid out different things here. It is something we shouldn't face. This is something that this darn survivor card, if you can see this, a background check that is done on us is like extensive, number one. Even in the airports, because no one's really familiar with how things work. With the guy to believe me, he's looking at it. I had lost my dang driver's license. I'm like, dude, if you scan to that right now, it's got a scanner. You can literally scan it. That's better than a driver's license. Thank goodness someone that was kind finally said, look, I mean, come on. She needs to get on the flight, okay? With PTSD, Heather, you mentioned something. Yes, I have a real issue with drivers and distracted drivers. And it's not just because they're distracted, but it is because of the things that people were doing when they shouldn't have been doing it in a rental vehicle. And it left me hurt. Not only that, airplanes. So I just mentioned last week that I don't think the masses of our public right now realize that on an airplane, I was standing on the tarmac. Next thing I know, here comes American Airlines coming over to unload. And I'm like, what the heck's happening? Like, you get driven to the back on the tarmac. Now, this is not like what I would picture in a movie. And then the door opens, and the whole time those passengers are on that plane, my son was under it with his flag. And I was like, even right now, I'm like, oh my God, I did not know. I was not ready for this. How the hell do you not tell me this is happening? Where's the damn counselor type person? Like, what do we do? We're standing here and I have to sit there while that comes off of a plane. Like, now when I get on a plane, I'm like,
I know. I believe it had the same effect on me. And I had to go and fly across to Fort Bragg right after that. And Caleb was a paratrooper. And so it was so hard for me to get on that plane.
Yeah. I broke down.
I watched his body come off of a plane just half a second before that, and that was very difficult. I was in some sort of catatonic trance, just like looking at family members and everything, and just seeing all the flags and the whole ceremony and everything. And I was just like totally, and then here's this coffin that comes off of the plane. It's just, and then like, whoa. But before that, I don't know if they did this at your son's funeral, or at that, I don't want to say funeral, at the airport. But they had 2 fire trucks set up and they crossed the water.
No.
Plane came through. It was really kind of a cool ceremony.
I wish.
I didn't see it. I saw pictures of it and a video of it, but and gratefully there was a firefighter that we knew that sent us the video that he took, and but a lot of our motorcycle clubs and things came out, and
yes, the Patriot Guard riders. Shout out to them. I did get to have that, but
awesome, and but it's the whole experience is just insane. And
well, you don't really get told. It's like I fired 3 CAOs. Those are casualty assistance officers. Everyone, I'm sorry, but my first one, she had postpartum depression. She had just had a baby, like I'm not kidding, 6 to 8 weeks ago. And she was just in tears and just could not function. And I said, man, you need to go home. Like, I can barely stand up. But I'm really good at helping other people and then putting me second. So I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. Like, you got to go. You need to go home to your baby. And she looked at me and she said, thank you. She said, I don't know that I'll ever even be able to serve again after this. The second one comes in. I mean, drank way too much. I'm just like, seriously? And so then I got into, dang, what fights do I need to do? Like, this is what I was doing, the checklist. It's like, casualty assistance officers really need some type of counseling training to be able to come to a home. And then that wouldn't have happened to me. And then I had something else. And that's when I said, screw everybody, screw everything. Yeah. I'm going to the top. And that's who you met, Heather, the other day. That man, we won't say his name except for hi, James. As thank God, him and another gentleman by Kent used to work with the Red Cross. So the contacts I have are because of running Military Moms of Texas or being involved before. But the planes, she's right. Like, when I come to Tennessee soon, it'll be like, Chris Turner is a veteran there. He's a musician as well. Shout out to Chris. Chris is like, do you want to get out and go see Doc? That's Malachi. These are all musicians. Look them up. I love our musicians, our veterans. You can tell I love music. Malachi, I call him Doc. It's the Stop 22 tour. It's there in Columbia. And I was like, oh my goodness, Doc, are you kidding me? I just lost my little brother who I can't say. A lot of rules just changed everybody on platforms we're on. So community guidelines prevent me from saying some things in words that I would love to say, but I can't. So with my brother no longer being here, that was something that was decided. I don't know any other words to say right now because I'm not allowed. But I'm doing okay. But you know what? I was like, dang, I have to do it because it's Doc and Chris Turner. Little did I know, I get there and it's in Columbia, Tennessee, which is outside of Nashville. And Doc and his wife, it's all the veterans. Chris, drove and picked me up from, we're in Franklin, Tennessee. I grew up in Nashville, crawling around at the Grand Ole Opry, you name it. You got the Josie Awards coming up. Shout out, I'm going. I know my music background, okay? Like, that much is something that I've depended on and known since I was a child. I'm lucky for that, because they stepped in and did a lot of things that were happening. Even somebody looking at me right now would be like, oh, she wasn't homeless, she did that. And I'm like, yeah, growing up as a kid, trust me, it was during a time when a lot of things were coming out, and choosing to participate in that were some of my people. So you've always got good and bad. But our points as far as the airplanes, Heather, that's on my list still, number one. I really feel like some type of counseling position or something, because it's just your CAO and it's you, and it's if you have a family member. I had my daughter, like, I would have never brought her standing next to me if I had really known what was about to happen. And it's like, you don't get told, you don't get prepared. Yet you see movies.
The thing is that some people have a heart and some people don't. I have, like my casualty assistance officer was incredibly amazing, and he took it very, very seriously. And he fought for every single thing that's written in the guidelines to be a casualty assistance officer. The thing is that it's just another, step to whatever they're trying to do next. They've got to have something to fill the spot, while they're moving up in rank,
You want to know what I was told?
So
mine told me it's to get a break. Mine said it's to get a break from work and duty. And I'm like, what?
Hey, well,
he's like, yeah, we get a break. We don't have to show up. I was like, whoa, that's why you signed up? I don't think you're very smart to be telling me that.
So it's just like any job. You need to choose well the people that, and the thing is that is a very tough job. It is a very, very tough job. Oh, yeah. My assistant officer over at Fort Bragg was very different indeed. We won't get into that.
Too, yeah. There's always one, right? Yeah, you know part of my story that I've never let out. I won't let it out on here. One day I will. But I remember meeting you, Heather, and when you found out that one thing and you were like, Tracy, you have to do something. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I have been fighting about 10 different things already, and that's going to have to be at the back of the list.
Right. You choose the centermost point of the battle and you hit at it.
Yeah.
Then
Just lay down and cry.
Whoa, look at all the other little battles. If I had I call them distractions. At some point you have to go, okay, lay down your sword for this, lay down your sword for that, and focus on what the real situation is. All of these other things are distractions. You have to focus. But it is painful. I'm sorry. Like the whole gold star versus combat versus non-combat, that whole kind of ego trip kind of whatever. It is painful and it is one of those distractions. And so I've had to just kind of go, okay, I'm not going to any more memorial things in around my town because they keep saying that I'm not a gold star mom. And here I am fighting this huge battle on home territory, like by myself,
and you're not allowed.
Calling you at night, maybe like, help. What do I do? A couple other of my Gold Star mom friends too, like Tracy. I'm sorry, Terry Caserta.
We'll end up getting some of them on. Heather and I on Monday nights. Tune in. It's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, just like we have Wednesdays. Shout out to SWAT. Wednesdays is our veteran comes on with us. If you'd like to ever be on the show, all you got to do is look up patriotsinsidethewire.com. There is a field there. You can fill that out. I was not interrupting you, Heather. I wanted to make sure that we have had several shout outs here. Brent.
Thanks for letting me ramble.
No, this is what it's for. Brent, I see you there. I see your message. Thank you. This time what we did is we went to our page, which is for broadcasting, and it's Patriots Inside the Wire military broadcast. And we did not go to our profile pages. Now, we both have thousands and thousands and thousands on our pages. I just looked at the number of people. And, again, Heather, a lot of people tomorrow, they will come back and they will find the show. So you can come back, everyone out there, and you will find the show. It will always be out there on multiple platforms. I mean, if I stop that banner at the bottom, you're going to see that we're not just on Facebook going live, okay? We are actually supported by not only one channel, but a whole lot of channels, 2 media groups, podcasts, you name it. So your audio version of our show tonight, that will come out. Not only that, you can come back and watch. The reason I'm bringing this up, Heather, I know we were talking earlier, everybody be aware, there are community guidelines that were changed. So we did not add our personal pages for a reason. If we lost those that are connected to our children, I mean, that happened to me recently.
Oh my gosh, that would be so devastating.
I was devastated in the bed. It was awful. I can't send him a friend request. I can't anything. So the guidelines that changed on June 10th on a certain platform, wow. So I can't go put it on my page right now because I'm live. But if I could, we wouldn't have just 12 watching right now. We would have thousands. So I want you to do me a favor. Even one person, come on, share Patriots Inside the Wire on the platform of Facebook. Go subscribe at YouTube to Patriots Inside the Wire. Be a part of this change. Be a part of our mission. Let's do better. And it is pretty easy to follow, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you do this. We have a lot of different topics that we bring up, but our Gold Star families is an area that, well, as Heather knows, I just have to be, I'll let Heather talk because I technically can't say a whole lot myself right now, except that I love my son. I love all my children. And just like Aaron Lewis's song, if you know it, I can't even say some of those words right now because
the situation is we just want to honor we just want to honor the service of our kids who chose to serve, and died in these crazy ways, and everybody has a different story, and it shouldn't be, I've been at events where, I'm going to take pictures with everybody, if they're taking pictures, well, I'm going to go up there and take pictures too. I'm not going to stand over there and be left to the side. My son, Caleb, he was so proud of his community, and I just wanted them to say his name just once. Thank you for your service, Caleb.
I remember this. I sent you there, didn't I?
It's not happening. It has never happened.
Yeah.
Except for that news, and I'm so grateful for what my congressman has done, and he's definitely given me and Caleb quite an honor of just
thank goodness
seeing Caleb's case, just like thank you. And Jody Arrington has been by my side since basically day one. But there's just a lot of ego involved things, and pertaining to combat versus non-combat. It's not a drum I want to sit here and beat and harp on, but we've actually been through some very traumatic things. Like I personally, there's an organization that really shocked me. There's just a lot I didn't know as a Gold Star mom at the beginning. Gold Star, new Gold Star mom. This was a new thing to me, and I never even heard the term Gold Star mom. And here I am signing up to be a part of this group that, has the similar name, and I'm being told that that's who I am, and I didn't know. Anyway, I got into some conflict.
That. Yeah.
Folks, and
I actually sent you there. I'm the one who sent you the information to go there because it was a ceremony. And I remember hearing back from you about what had happened. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how is this possible? And I just had this conversation with the SOS office up at Fort Hood. Listen, people, until you lose a child, don't come trying to describe what my child is or is not. Number one, there is a lot of old information. If I got the freaking military and I've got the DOD, do you think I really would rather have them forever or my son? I mean, what is the argument? The people that really should be honored right now and not fighting are, you know what? That blank check, the ultimate sacrifice of your life, of that oath. Thank God someone freaking joined, right? Like, it sucks. I want to hear, I'm sorry. Yeah, it sucks. But you know what? It sucks when you come at us. It sucks when you say we don't belong. We belong because our sons belong.
Well, here's the deal. Like you mentioned before, he served overseas.
Yeah.
And so
18
I mean, like I don't understand how you can be that discriminatory, like
segregation.
Even now, like it doesn't
don't get me blocked.
Folks who have not survived the night because of their own demons and demons that have been created by their service, are discriminated against. I've sat there and watched mothers, like I mentioned before, going up to, I'm like, hey, come take a picture. She's like, no, I'm not a Gold Star mother, and just like, it's just too okay, can we not say that from the pulpit, from the speaking stand, like you're not a Gold Star.
I have to give you props for that one because I know me well. If I had been there, I'm telling you, I always tell people, look, I don't say the F word, but you can.
I did go up to money afterwards, and I did say, hey, this is my Gold Star. That
they both have a star on them, by the way.
Yeah. And
They both have a
you're
star.
telling me
Okay.
I'm not a gold star mom, but let me explain something to you. This is what was given to me. You know, I try to tell him a little bit of what happened to Caleb, and you know, a lot of it's just education. You know, and so you can't be mad at people if they don't understand or know. And so, but so there is part of that, yes, and then there's just kind of an old way of being that's very superficial, and it's a divide that you instantly feel one way or the other when you end up in our shoes, is all I'm saying.
Well, we don't want you in our shoes.
We've had the experience, and it's not very fun sometimes.
No, we don't want you in it. We want you to keep your family.
We want to.
But you want your rights, don't you? They want their rights, but yet, let's pick a fight with the moms that lost their kids. Sorry, I got to tell you, the mom that raised that soldier probably is the reason he joined. So be careful, because the moms that raised him
a lady
are probably badass moms. I'm sorry.
She told me, that basically I needed to learn how to serve in the footsteps of my soldier. And I was just like, what? I said, look, my soldier is different than your soldier, obviously, because I'm going to keep fighting, and maybe I'm fighting for you too, man. And maybe you should be on my side instead of calling me and telling me that you're going to sue me because I'm an artist and I wore a pin that I created that looked, I don't know. I get it. I was grieving and I'm sorry. I apologize.
There's no reason to apologize, Heather.
I was grieving and I'm
an
artist and I had a moment, but like, we have to go there. We have to go to the gut first. Can we be compassionate? Can we understand and see and take under our wing and go, oh, what is it that you need? What is it? Can we be more compassionate and take people like humankind, be humankind? And that's what like Caleb's whole story is about. Human kindness.
Human kindness, Smitty checks for sure.
You can try your hardest to teach it at school as an educator, but it really has to come straight from home. And not all of our kids are, not all of our service members come from the same family and not cut from the same cloth. And it takes a lot of great leadership and molding to create amazing heroes out there. And that's what we want. We want we really want to vamp on the goodness of what everybody's doing in the military. We want to hear all the good stuff.
We want to be included.
Yeah, we still want to support you guys. And that's part of why we're like kind of sad that we're seen as the outcasts.
I'd rather go hang out and listen to the music that they play, but
the Gold Star. What's that?
I was like, I might be better off if I just go hang out and listen to some music that they play.
Exactly. And so you just find, what I've had to do is, in the best days, is learn how to live.
Jeremy, we love you. Don't go anywhere. 988.
Thank you.
Sorry. Jeremy's there. We got to let him know everything's good. It's all good. Reach out. 988. You need anything? You need a resource? I'm talking to everyone right now. Please let us know that. We thank you for that. I did not mean to interrupt you. I saw him there, and I wanted to make sure with his message that he understood that we always remember him. Brent, by the way, as well. I did notice we have on X, and you know what? I'm at this point. A lot of people are like, what are you talking about, Tracy? And I'm like, I have to do legislation, right? And it's legislation for our kids, we aren't in politics. Our show's not political, but we do get involved in like, hey, this is not happening again. So this means I have to go fight. So on X, mine, with the legislation said, you need to get on Twitter. Got on, and like, all these changes are happening. I'm bringing it up because right now on X is where a lot of our viewers are right now. And on X is where I learned, wait a minute, you got spaces. Okay, this is a trip. Let me check it out. And I'm like, holy cow, this is my space plus Twitter equals X Spaces. That's the new, the new. I'm not kidding. It's like you can go in there and the different subjects and the different audio and the topics. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I encourage you. I don't get my news off the mainstream media, number one. Number two, on X. It's so weird to say that, y'all. It's like, do y'all remember that actually meant something else? I'm not that old either. It's just that I do know that anyway, the choice of it, it's weird for me to say it. So I make the joke. MySpaces and Twitter had a baby, and now it's X Spaces. So, okay. But even MySpace, I'm not even dated that old. But I'm trying to say thank you. Thank you to X out there. I see you're there. I see that you are watching us, and I see the numbers climbing like crazy. Our X viewers, man, it gets to be nighttime. They will sit there and just, I'm not kidding. Like the other night, the numbers just kept going up and up and up and up. This is called real people, the OG. I do want to do something real quick. We are not going away, but it's getting dark, and we do have a guest. That sunset's gone because it's dark outside and I can see him backstage. So what I would like to do is bring up our guest right here. This guest, get me if I'm wrong, Aaron, is it Marines? And not only Marine, a singer-songwriter for Mr. Aaron Owen in the Dark. How's it going?
It's pretty good. I'm about to go and move so you guys can see me.
All right. Good. Yeah, we need to see you. You need a flashlight.
Yeah, so
where are you?
I was in the Marine in my backyard.
But where? Yeah, where I'm from.
I'm in Santa Fe, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. He knows the producer.
What's that?
There he is. Now you can see him. What's up? How are you? I haven't seen you since you were on stage.
I know. I've been working, just grinding it out.
Really?
Two lovely ladies.
Nice.
Provide for Aaron and everything.
I saw your comment about the MOS and whoever's in charge of that, and your combat commander. And I was like, actually, he's right. Y'all have to deal with some things that's why I look for veterans, because I'm like, the only people that get it and I don't have to say anything is usually a veteran. They'll usually be like, yeah, let's just hang out and listen to some music, and it helps both sides. It's like, man, don't go there. Just turn on some music and like get along.
Man, I know that music has really helped me so much. I call it my grief therapy, I'm so grateful for, like, after Caleb passed away, like it was hard for me. It was kind of flatlined for a while, and I didn't have music in my life. I just kind of stopped everything good because it was just like I had to hit running like so hard, with all this stuff. And then finally this last couple years, I've been back doing like playing gigs and singing, just like, I just love like covering anything. It's so much fun to learn new stuff. And of course I write music too, but like maybe again for me to do that. It's
Heather,
so.
Have you gone and looked at us after we were at Fort Hood? The singing session.
I don't know where that's at.
I haven't looked. I'm not looking.
I don't think that he kept it on there.
Oh, no, it's live. It's out there, y'all. Like, if you really want to find us and start following this show, you really should, because you never really know what's going to happen after dark. So, and I mean that in a good way. Don't let your heads get in the gutter.
Are you a songwriter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bottle Rockets and Bullets. That's the one I got right now. Bottle Rockets and Bullets.
I started writing music back when I was a kid, but when you go into the military, you're looking for something. And when I went in, it took me a long time to get back to who I was, because when I went to Iraq in 2004, I came home and off active duty in 2008. and started college full time. And it was pretty much one day I was active duty. The next day I was full-time college student. So it was very difficult transition because my mind was still a 19-year-old kid, but I was, conditioned to be a Marine, and so like everything that I loved about myself before I had to find again. And I found it. It's taken me about 15 years so far to pretty much find, part of Aaron that was gone. I know some of it, I probably won't ever get back again, but with my wife and my kids and my journey and the story that I have, I think it's relevant to other people's situations because, you come off of active duty and there's pretty much no program other than temp and tap for you to adjust back into service. It doesn't matter if you are a 20, 30-year-old plus, general coming out of the military. I mean, obviously, there's difference in your career paths, but even the most seasoned guys are taking their lives at unprecedented rates, and in the military, you're not taught to ask for help. So there is no program, there is no mentorship program really set up. And when I first transitioned out, I was right before the post 9/11 in the VAs came about. So it was like right before Bush brought in the post 9/11 GI Bill. So I was still part of the Montgomery GI Bill while I was still in the IRR, going to college full time. And I was in intensive outpatient treatments in the VA. Like it took me 15 years to get 90%. But it took me moving from Ohio to Texas and also about a 12-year span where I did not get my benefits. And, a lot of people when they're up against that, I don't know, I've just always been no one or anything is going to ever take me out of a situation, no matter how difficult it is, unless it's me. And I'm not the type of person to give up. I've had those thoughts. I've had those situations. I have people in my family that have, been there and have not been there, because blood, yeah, it's thicker than water, but guess what? It's 90% water. And without water, it's just going to coagulate and be a big old blob of congealed hard mess. And I learned that, relationships along the way, it's about learning the knowledge and passing it on. And it seems like people get into a position, especially because I work in the plants and everything. It's like guys that are so eager to get into a position before they're ever willing to actually commit to that position and act that way. So, that was huge because my bachelor's degree is in organizational leadership, which it can apply to my current position, which I'm a project manager at a hydroblasting company for Conco Services. Used to be Aquadrill International. We're now the hydroblasting division of Conco Services. They've been in business over 100 years out of Pennsylvania. But
that's up near Houston, right? Where you're at, kind of up near Houston.
I'm in. So we were out of Dickinson. I'm in. Our company over here is out of LaPorte, Deer Park area.
Okay.
But
Did you say LaPorte?
I'm all over the United States.
Yeah.
So I've got 7 kids, 6 grandchildren. When I moved down to Texas, I was at 30% in the VA, and it took, like, everything happens for a reason, right? So like without me going through all the rigmarole in college and being denied benefits that happened while I was overseas, all these things, I would have never met my wife. My wife was a lady working at Galveston County Veteran Services in Houston, Texas, which is in Galveston, Texas, but Houston's huge. Anyway, they used Texas Veterans Commission to file claims. And I went in there. I was getting help, and this was in 2016. Man, everything was going crazy, and she helped me get an appointment. And long story short, asked her out on a date. But it took from that point, it took another 6, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 for me to hit my 90. And that jumped me from 50 to 90. And I'm sitting at currently like 180% collectively. And the VA, I have chronic sleep impairment, which is my PTSD. And they second that to sleep apnea, severe obstructive sleep apnea. So I got the equipment, I got the pills, and I was using it for like 3 years. And the VA they issued me the equipment. They did me the sleep studies and everything. I didn't even do a second day because it was so bad. It was so severe. Anyway.
But they took care of you.
No, they didn't take care of me. So it was another 3 years before I received benefits for it. I had to actually go.
But they did the studies before the benefits kicked in.
I got diagnosed for my PTSD, which was severe which was chronic sleep impairment, back in 2013. Mm-hmm. So it took 5 years for me to develop a claim. And then because I walked my records beginning of 2008, I started college. So right at the end of 2007 in Columbus, Ohio. And then I transitioned from Columbus, Ohio to Dayton. And I was a full-time college student at Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, and doing intensive outpatient treatments there. So it took another 5 years for me to develop a claim before I actually was given a rating. Mm-hmm. It's like it was given a rating. They denied me for a bunch of stuff that happened while I was overseas. And then that was in 2013. Moved to Texas, and then in 2016 went back, and in 2017 I got a rating, and they overturned everything that Ohio denied me for. So while I was in college for 5 years, and also while I was denied, is pretty much what I have right now in college debt, in benefits that I would have got. But like people can get wrapped up in all that kind of thing, and my biggest thing is passing it forward to somebody else. Because if I had experienced that,
exactly,
crazy as it is, and people are like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, like they all talk about developed claims versus undeveloped claims.
That creates more PTSD.
Well, at the end of the day,
experience.
I'm going to be very blunt and honest that
the
way that I feel is they would rather you blow your brains out than give you what you deserve. Because there are companies, there are people, and there are organizations right now making money on people trying to get their benefits that they rightfully deserve. And
it's true. A lot of people have to hire attorneys.
It's astronomical. Well, not even they're hiring attorneys, but there's people out there that's got, this is how you get your 100%. I've never taken that path of like, this is what I think I deserve. I've been denied for things that literally happened to me while I was in a combat zone. And
was it hard for you to get your medical records? Did you have to have your medical records to?
I hand walked I was in the 11th MEU. So when I transitioned off of active duty, tip and tap, I transitioned out of active duty in about 2 months. So I did my tip and tap, and I brought everything, made copies of everything. Yeah. And I hand submitted my VA or my medical records to the VA. Now the problem is, in 2008, there wasn't anybody advocating for guys when they came back. You had the Vietnam veterans and stuff like that, but there wasn't anybody going, "Hey man, what are you claiming in your medical record?" There's not a mentor. There isn't a mentor program
Exactly.
at all.
Right.
And they don't scrutinize your medical record. They're not going to come out and say, hey, man, you know, we seen that you had PTSD. You were getting treatment for
That's
PTSD.
right.
We seen that you tore the fuck out of your knee, you know, while you were over there. You busted up your back, your neck. You have
So you have to fight for yourself.
To them without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what. And if it's not developed fully, they're going to deny you. And then when somebody goes in there to get help and they see that they're denied, a lot of these guys are like, well, they're almost at their breaking point anyway.
Yeah.
And just people aren't headstrong anymore.
And they don't, well,
and they're just not educated. And the other thing is they're so broken. They're just like, there's hopelessness. They serve their country, they come back, and then they have to fight for something that's already should be given. They don't go through your medical record until you claim something in their medical record, which is, I think, is totally fucking backwards. And I think it's totally fucked up, because when you come back home as a 19, 20-year-old kid, you're expecting, you know, when you answered the call, because I volunteered during fucking the Iraq war. I enlisted in my you know, what was it, 2 days after my 19th birthday, which was March 30th of 2003. So I enlisted April 1st of 03. So I was still in the delayed entry program, getting ready to go to Parris Island for 6 months. So once I hit Parris Island in August of 03, I was deployed in August of 04 with 1st Marines, 1st Medical Battalion out of Camp Pendleton. So a year later, at fucking 20 years old, you know, I'm going to war. Wow. And the biggest red flag for me, and I know we're supposed to be playing music, the biggest red flag for me when I joined the military, I was fired, and this, I'm throwing my shit out there, whatever. I joined as fire direction and control, right? So I did artillery. That's what I signed up for. Well, when I went to MEPS told me that you had gotten pulled over when you were 17 years old. I said, okay, cool. I got an OVI. What's the big deal? Well, they told me that with that, I was denied my bonus. So since I was denied the bonus, I didn't rate the MOS. This was the day that I was leaving for Parris Island, by the way. I'd already been in depth in the delayed entry program for 6 months at this point. And so to fast forward, I chose admin because I couldn't even pass the driving test to drive fucking, this is crazy. And I didn't want to cook. I really didn't want to go in the Marine Corps and cook. So it was either admin, motor T, or cooking. I was like, whatever, fuck it. I'm going to Parris Island. I'm going to do admin. You know, I thought that was something that would transition out pretty relatively smooth into, like, you know, working for the city or working in a corporate or just something that I could take after I served my country and use towards a career later on.
For sure.
Anyway, so to fast forward, I had a buddy his dad was a retired master sergeant out of the Marine Corps. And he had 3 DUIs in high school and the year that he got out. So he was out of high school for a year, almost 2 years. His dad helped him get fire direction and control, the $10,000 bonus, and Marine Corps College Fund, which was like $10,000, $100,000 college fund, which wasn't even an option, not even on my radar. But the thing is like, that was something like 2 years later, I was like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And so the other one was I got NJP before I left for fucking Iraq. I was 20 years old, drinking beers in the barracks. Well, later on, like a couple of years later, they changed it where if you were with your unit or whatever, if you were under the age of 18, if you were of the age of 18 but under the age of 21, at a unit function, you could drink a couple beers or whatever. Well, anyway, they hadn't established that yet. they NJP'd me because I was in the room with somebody that was of age to drink. And there was more beers in there than he was allowed to have in the barracks room. And we're fucking going to war. Of course, we're fucking 20 years old. We're going to drink beers. It's a fucking party in there. Anyway, the Marine Corps is, it doesn't matter how old you are. Tradition in the Marine Corps on the Marine Corps birthday is 2 beers and a shot. So the same people that fucked with my career 2 months before I left for Iraq, that I was in Iraq with them, gave me 2 beers and a shot on Marine Corps birthday when I was in fucking Camp Takadam, Iraq in 2004. And I was super fucking pissed. And I was like, you know what? That was one of the biggest red flags for me. Like, and then when I came back home, so I worked with 1st Medical Battalion. So we indoctrinated all the corpsmen into the Marine Corps. If you wanted to be a corpsman and work with the Marine Corps, since we don't have designated medics like the Army does, there is no MOS for medics. They're Navy corpsmen. So they go to boot camp, they do their boot camp, and then guess what? They do another 13 weeks getting their ass kicked going to the fucking Marine Corps indoctrination program. And so when they get to 1st Medical Battalion or other medical battalions within the Marine Corps, they're sent off to all the different spots. So as an admin guy, I'm responsible for doctors and fucking surgeons and all the corpsmen, where they are going and all that good stuff, medical facilities, everything. So, you know, it's once I got into the military and I was home from war, there was guys that had never left that are hitting 20 years, and they're going to like these single Marine. They had a program in the Marine Corps, single Marine program. Cool program, you know, for the young guys, the people that aren't married, that are on post and stuff like that. They did a lot of cool shit. I did a lot of cool shit with that. Helped with triathlons, went to the Long Beach race, like did security at concerts and stuff. It was badass. But there was a sergeant major that was like dissing all the corpsmen, and I just got back from Iraq. I seen that guy in the bathroom, and I'm fucking private 1st class, and pretty much just cussed him out and told him he was a fucking piece of shit. And you know, he hadn't left the country at all in his 20 years, and neither had he worked with corpsmen. You don't fuck with a corpsman. And especially in the Marine Corps units, there's you don't fuck with the doc at all. Period. End of story. They'll fuck with the guys in the unit will fuck with the doc, but no one will get close to messing with the doc. And so, like, there's some big red flags. You know, I transitioned off of active duty so quickly because when I got out of my 2nd deployment, I was scheduled to go to Marine Security Guard school. So I was pulled off of the list, and basically my uncle's a retired colonel, Army Ranger, Special Forces, out of 82nd Airborne Ranger Battalion, and he did over 20 years. So when I went to go do a re-enlistment with him, which was already approved, by the way, I drove across the country from California with everything that I owned before I went to Marine Security Guard school. I already been pulled off the list to go back to Iraq for the 2nd time with my unit. So I drove all the way to fucking Georgia. And then we went to call the unit, and they were like, oh yeah, by the way, your paperwork's fucked up. So my uncle, he was a retired colonel, fucking shoot everybody out. And, you know, I ended up back, and the sergeant major gave me an opportunity to go on the 11th MEU as an ambulance driver. By the way, I never passed my fucking exam. So it was full circle. So I was licensed as an ambulance driver, and my 2nd deployment would have been on the 11th MEU, but I got to the point where I didn't feel like you would do what you needed to do, and I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, I'll kill for you, but it never came back around full tilt, you know what I mean? So anyway, I dove into music when I was in college, and it was something that I always loved. You know, my wife grounded me, my kids and everything, and I kind of got back into just playing music and doing things that I love to do. And I ran into Jason. I ran into Scotty Frazier and Shannon Book and all these guys. It was crazy because I met Shannon Book when I met Shannon when I first moved to Texas. I first moved to Texas.
That's better.
When I first moved to Texas, I met Shannon Book, and we went to.
It says trash.
Is this the wifey?
Yeah.
What's it say?
I'm trailer trash Barbie, and it says
No, I want it.
I did it. It says trash. And
Hey, by the way, say hello to her
And
because
lots of good things about you, ma'am.
hey, when I was there at Vet Fest.
All right,
I
this
was
is
like,
where I leave.
who
You
is
guys
this
can have
woman?
me.
No.
Inside
like,
the wire.
Who is that? Who's that woman? And yeah, and he told me all about you.
Yeah.
He told me all about you and the kids and all that you did for
my
him.
cowgirl hat on at all times.
I love it.
Woo.
Yes.
But yeah, I met him when we did a Silkies hike when I first moved to Texas. I met Shannon, and we got an opportunity to go meet Slipknot. And I hadn't met Shannon ever in my whole life. And I got a text message, hey, man, you want to go to the concert with me? And I was like, sure, I'll drive. And so I showed up. And it was me and another person and him. And we went to the Slipknot concert. It was Bullet for My Valentine, Lamb of God, Slipknot. It was dope. And we got to meet the band. And, yeah, he's always been encouraging. I've played open mics since 2012. And music has always been more therapeutic than like something that I could make money at, you know, and never really looked at it as a career opportunity. And the main reason is because my family, the closest, you know, that I thought my blood, when I came back home and I tried to rekindle those relationships, would encourage me to follow my dreams, my passions, you know. And it was always like, well, you can do that as long as it's, you know, you do this career, you know. And then I always kind of second guess and question myself because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's my biggest hero is my dad, and looking up to my mom and everything, and getting back home and just realizing I was a fuck up at some point and I needed to get my ass kicked. I joined the Marine Corps, came back home, and I thought I could rekindle. And like those 10 years or whatever that went by, it was just everything and everybody has kind of moved on, you know. Yeah. And I was still like, even my people that I grew up with were like, man, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything. Like, dude, I'm fucking I'm lost. I'm trashed. Like I'm 10 years, you know, behind you guys, because by the time I got done with college, you know, I had an extra year of college. It took me 5 years to get my bachelor's degree. So I'm sitting at like almost a decade by the time I'm jumping into my first career, you know, moving down to Texas. So I was behind the power curve pretty good. And I've always had that attitude of just never giving up. And if I can put it forward to somebody else along the way. I know I'm pretty long-winded, but
no, this is great.
At the end
we
of the
like to hear from others.
Well, I think it's about being the link in the chain that was broken in our situations. And obviously you've been explaining, you know, the link in the chain that was broken in your situation. We've kind of expressed our experiences, you know, and so that's kind of what this is all about, is being that link in the chain and sharing, because, you know, and educating people, helping others have a better situation than what we have experienced, you know, or at least help them maneuver through a little easier without having such strenuous, you know, exerting yourself beyond need. You know, like you said, it could, you know, they could look through your file, you know, before you you know, your records, you know, upon exit, and say, okay, here's what you're eligible for, right? Have some sort of counseling to maneuver you through that. You have to fight for literally every single, here's the thing is y'all fight for all of our rights and you don't even get to have them yourself.
Right.
And that's just something that I've noticed as sitting on the side of the fence over here as just a mom, a supportive mother. But, and I'm sure your wife is similar. What she's,
She is. He got to tell me a lot about her, and I was like, man, she's a pistol like us. That's what she is. I was like, your wife is it sounds like a badass, number one. So I was like, I loved it. He's coming back. It's his internet. I heard his phone go ding. So he's going to come back, and I know that our production guy is in touch with him to say when he comes back, he doesn't have to talk about that. He can do his song that he wants to do. And while we're waiting on him to come back, JMT will get a hold of him. That was Aaron Curtis Owen.com. He is a Marine veteran. Something that stood out to me, Heather, he's talking about is, I didn't even think about this, but Adam was not old enough either when he was in Iraq. So when he was old enough to even have like a beer or anything, he was in Iraq. Like he was, how old was? Yeah, I just don't go there with dates. I really try not to. But that stood out to me. I was like, yep, yeah. But overseas, somehow they'll get it. Adam didn't. I mean, they would tell us more about that. But and Aaron was there before Adam. But the whole point of this is that by connecting there he is, I knew it, connecting a Gold Star family with our veterans and then bringing music in that. And it's like, this is the project that I have wanted for, but it took me a while, right? We both have things we have had work on.
I found him.
Oh, good. There he is.
Facebook. I've started following him. I started following you, Aaron.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Excited.
I'm surprised your Facebook is giving you reverb.
Since I went down the rabbit hole, I'm going to play you guys a song I wrote right when I first got out of the service.
Okay. And what is it called?
It's called Time on the Bottle, but you have to sing with me. This is the chorus, okay? It goes
We'll change that.
I got time on the bottle. I got time on the bottle, babe. I got time on the bottle, bro. 'Cause the bottle's got time on me. You got it?
Yes.
Yes. Right. You got muted.
Time on the bottle. I got time on the bottle, babe. I got time on the bottle. The bottle's got time on me. Oh. Went down to the corner store and I bought myself a brew. I made my way down to the dock just to see what I could see. Well, I popped the cap, I let it slide. I looked out to the sea, I let out a sigh. Then somewhere around where that old faint sound, so woo! The rest of the brewski down. I got time on the bottle. I got time on the bottle. Time on the bottle. The bottle's got time.
Love it.
Got on a plane, all of us were insane to do just what we did. Oh, we stopped in an old Irish town, you know the Guinness was making an old train sound. So I laid on my back, I thought about Jack, back home, afraid we wouldn't crack. But somewhere around, heard that old faint sound. So man, I took the rest of the Guinness down. I got time on the I got time babe. I got time on the bottle road. The bottle's got time, it had a hold on my soul, you see. But he was 19, went over to Iraq. Wesley got blown on his back. Summer Lima company didn't come back. I got time on the bottle for him. I got time on the bottle for them. I got time on the bottle, so much time. Smoking pot, I forgot. Man, it must have made me right. I got time. Take it away, yeah.
Time.
I got time on the bottle, babe. I got time on the bottle, cause the bottle got time and had a hold on my soul. Yeah, I got time on the bottle, my friends. I got some friends I've made along the way, just like you. I got some I buried away. I got time on the bottle. I got time on the bottle, babe. I got time on the bottle, cause the bottle's got time on me. Yeah, my friends. Yeah, I got time on the bottle. Little technical difficulties because we broke a spoon, but I got time on the bottle around town. Time on the bottle.
Time on the bottle.
I love that song.
But I can't. Yeah, we gotta do finish ours.
A lot of folks would really like
special requests
relate to what you're speaking about, what you're singing about.
Yeah, see. You know, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, ladies. You know.
So Heather and I,
things these days.
Heather and I, I could not remember for the life of me. We were trying to think of this song, and I was like, it has this and it has that, and it's about closing. And she's like, what? And I'm like, it's closing time. So like my son and I like karaoke or anything. It's closing time literally, and it's like legendary country, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what it is. So like it took me, and I'm like, dang it, like. So I need to figure out how we can have like your captions to like songs so we can actually sing along with our musicians that we have on. So
that'd be dope.
But yes, it's closing time. I completely, while you were singing that, I went, I know it. I know what it was. Like his big song every night, and it was always like he'd jump up on the bar and be like, let's go, mom. Miss Buddies. We're gonna sing closing time every time. So,
well, it's special for me because Caleb was a singer. He loved singing, and his favorite color was pink. He said, "Real men wear pink."
yeah.
So, yeah, and he loved country. Like he. Oh man, I have his voice in my head, in my heart. Thank you so much for
That was an amazing song. JM says, "Bro, song."
I know it's so good.
It was good.
Lubbock, Texas.
Wait, hold on. Are one and done, or can I go get my other guitar?
Go get it. No, music. Heather and I are all about music.
Place here in Lubbock and in Austin.
Yes. And we are putting together a few concerts. Everybody listening right now, we keep building. Man, X, y'all are just got to do a shout out, man, to X right now. Like our X people are like enjoying us. And Heather, the other night, like we had like 200 people on that were paying attention to us and music
awesome.
and our stories.
Much.
Yeah, well, we couldn't put in our profiles tonight, which would have grabbed all those Gold Star families. So now what we'll do every Monday is we're going to have to teach them, you need to go join this page so that we can broadcast it safely. And again, I need to say this out there. Hey, I don't censor anything, but unfortunately we get censored. So the whole F word and all these things, like, we just want you to know we're following guidelines. I got your messages. I understood. And I responded to those messages. So definitely, I do understand. My producer, all of us are reading through all those guidelines and doing our best to stay updated. So we are just people sharing right now and carrying over multiple platforms, not just the one. So I am keeping it very positive. And when you all run into it, and unfortunately you're going to, I just happened to do it on the day they ran it through. So unfortunately, you cannot use certain words, which bothers me, Heather. Like, seriously, we're not allowed to use certain words. We're censored, like, in our country. So, but yeah, we can't. There are certain words from now on that they've added that we are not allowed to say or you'll get banned. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, okay, they can serve, but yet, our freedom of speech, our rights, the First Amendment, Second Amendment. Come on, who knows their amendments? Come on.
I've been wanting to vamp on that all night,
But I can't say the words, and I can only tell people to listen to me. I'm telling you the truth. That I thought it broke my heart, literally. Like, and I know it seems crazy. You're like, oh my goodness, she lost a social media account. No. It is the one connected to my son that is accepted as a friend request. It's the one that has his songs. It's the one that has our messages. And it's the one that his last post was the lyrics to Aaron Lewis's song. Aaron, you'll like this one. Ooh, Aaron Lewis's. Guess which one? Guess which one, Aaron? I want to be there.
What's your sign say?
Look at that.
Sign is. What
does it say? Chanel. I know Chanel when I see it.
That say
Look at that.
Set up.
Dude's got the
light
or the light.
She's
the thing. He's got a whole stripper bar.
It says you're like really pretty.
Okay, I like that.
Oh,
Bree,
you got your own bar at your house. Like,
Bree puts me to shame. I'm telling you.
Who?
My wife. She's
yeah, like
if she got on here, oh god,
she can join us. We're fine. Like, look, about the most, like, you've already met me. I mean, I was there because I wanted to support my friend, Mr. Frazier, Scotty Frazier. Shout out to you. But that was my first time in person that I met them. And again, I better finish this. Chris Turner, thank you again. I did not know that he lived on the other side of Nashville. He drove to get me an hour and then drove another hour to go to where we were going for the Stop 22 tour. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't know this. Like, because I was like, I'll just stay in. It's all good. He's like, no way, you're going. And I was like, okay. And I'm so glad that I did. But we have so many veterans and even Gold Star moms, by the way, who sing, they write songs, they've grown up around it. And so that's my salvation. Like, I was around it as a child, grew up around it, and yeah. I mean, my vocal cords got cut. I'm still trying to figure that all out, but it doesn't stop me. I'm going to figure that part out. So I see this post here. Thank you, sweetie, Rihanna. Oh, is this is his wife? Hey, of course she can join us. Look at that. I get goofy. You know that. Like, yeah, there's like, yeah, she is goofy.
And now we have
there's nothing in me.
Stage.
It's just me. It's like Sprite. It's Sprite and
Oh,
Tic
Lord.
Tacs. Sprite and Tic Tacs.
That's all it takes, folks.
Tic Tacs. Well, I don't have my saliva. Remember, so people are like, "What is she doing?" And it's like, you know what? When you've had a surgery that messed you up because of freaking cancer, good news is I don't have cancer. Okay, so I just have to pop Tic Tac.
Right.
Hey, I want a sponsor from Tic Tac. Hi, pop a Tic Tac if you'd like more saliva. Ding.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, he's getting his other guitar.
Okay.
Heather, you know, you and I, it's interesting. So everybody out there that's listening to us, we're climbing in numbers like crazy, and thank you for that. Thank you all for being there, because you never know. This is the time they're like, yeah, we want to see what happens. Heather, like through the many journeys already, like, you know, I want to get down there to where you're at, but we're doing these concerts, Patriot Fest, and there's been a lot of people that kind of come along and then they kind of straggle away, which you're used to that, right? Like, it's like, you know, what fits for one may not fit for all. But as we continue on, Patriot Fest has 3 locations already. I've had calls from police officers, fire. I've got everyone that fits in our category you can possibly mention, except for Space Force yet. So if we've got someone from Space Force, that we want to do this concert. So one is going to be Salado. One is probably Conroe near Houston. And then the Expo here in Austin is making a deal with the officer who has a band. And then from there, my friends in Arlington, you need to reach out to me if you'd like that to happen. But I would like to do a small one in Lubbock. Like, we could do, so I'm thinking like smaller, like don't bite too much at first, and this is something that we go forward with. And
hey, we're the home of Buddy Holly, Natalie Maines.
Yeah, there it is. See, there's our logo for Patriot Fest. See our logo, Aaron, for Patriot Fest? Right there, upper right corner by your head.
Yes, ma'am.
That's Patriot Fest.
I love that.
The original. But we're going to go with the guitar and the red, white, and blue. And we just get in touch with us. Literally, get in touch with us. We are going to make that happen. So we want to make sure that you are included. You have things that might be, you want to donate your time as far as equipment, stage, lighting, location. You're in Lubbock or wherever we're talking about right now. We have no issues coming and playing for you and putting together our little circle. And it's not, oh gosh, the country Nashville just met Texas voice came out. And I was like, it ain't. But what I'm trying to say is going to somewhere like Lubbock would be great. We just need the on the ground, boots on the ground. So we're not opposed to going to wherever that might be, including Tennessee. I'm going to go with Doc and them again at the end of July. Heather, if you want to come out to Nashville, the Josie Awards are in October. That is always something to see. Are you aware of that, Aaron? The Josie Awards? Do you know what those are?
No, I'm so far out of the loop on everything. I just work and take care of the kiddos. And
well, this is something I need to let you know off air on the back channels because of not giving away all our secrets. I will tell you, and it will help you. I've already told JMT, which can tell you, but I'm gonna let you in on a secret
All right.
between Heather, Doc. There's a few of us that I want to know about it. So that's October 25th, 26th time frame, Heather. That I want to be in Tennessee, get our press passes, and I want you to see what that is. And Aaron, I'll make sure that you know what it is off air on the back channels. But I see you grabbed a new guitar. What do we got?
So, I told you about my wife. Well, I think she's the most amazing woman in the world. Well, she's, raised 7 children, and, she's battled through colon cancer and just everything adversity wise. This lady is amazing. So I wrote a song for her that I'd like to play for y'all. And I think it has a good message. And I think a lot of people that hear it would be very touched, and it has a good message to it. It's called Long Lost Angel. Dear God, please won't you answer? I wanna get you on the line. Well, I found your long lost angel. Hey man, she's sleeping in my bed tonight. Lord, I'm begging and pleading. Oh, there's nothing like her in my life. Any price that is needed to make her queen of my world. God, please won't you grant me this wish that I'm wishing for. Amen. I see her fall down from the sky. Hey brother, she was beaten, bruised, and in no shape to fly. But she had my heart from the first time. Yeah, I held her when we spoke, and I looked in her eyes. Yeah, she said, I'm an angel from heaven. Oh boy, but these broken wings, they just won't let me fly. Oh, I found your long lost angel. Oh, I found my long time friend. Oh dear God, oh please won't you answer? Brother man, I want to give all the line for my oh dear God, oh please won't you answer? Oh man, I wanna give you on the line. I found your long lost angel tonight.
That's her, Brianna, right there. Yeah, we were. She's got a couple comments in there, so I want to say, bless her. She's in year 2 of remission, and I do know that life. So um, I know why you were singing that song. So
Yeah.
little did I know the night. Do you remember what I said to you though? I go to Vet Fest, and yeah, I love like Scotty, Stacia. I had never met them in person, but like when you just talk to people because somehow you collided. I don't know how. I think it's from music. But they knew a little of my story, but there's other veterans that knew a lot. And I remember going up to you, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm going home. I got like 7 kids," and you were telling me all your stuff. And I was like, "What?" Like,
They're like, "Hey, drink a beer with us." I'm like,
I was like, "There's no way." And then I made the comment, like, is your hair frosted right now?
"No, it's cut off."
Oh, so when I met him, shout out Brianna, he had his hair going. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is the song Ice Ice Baby?" Like, is it Vanilla Ice or whatever? And he was like, "Oh." Do you remember that?
It was definitely Backstreet Boys vibes. Definitely.
Was it? Oh, I mean, I don't know who came first or not. Literally, I don't. Do y'all? Was it Backstreet Boys or was it him? I don't know.
Ice definitely was before Backstreet Boys.
Okay. Well, I'm just putting out there.
I don't remember him rocking the frosted tips like that, though.
You don't watch the movie 13 Going on 30, or I just love that movie. So I'm trying to think of what to tell you to see. I don't know, because I don't. It reminds me of Billy Idol a little bit too, though. If it was a little longer, which I like Billy Idol.
Yeah.
But I just remember going, "There's no way you have 7 kids." She's like, "Yeah," and if I'm not mistaken, I think you said y'all have grandkids.
Yeah, 6.
Oh yeah,
That is insane.
right?
And
Right?
amazing.
I
And I
was
bet-
like, "Oh, y'all are brave."
Awesome.
Y'all are awesome. Now, I
Love
take it this is Brianna's area right now, because between Chanel, the disco ball, and what does it say back there? It's hard to see from here, but
You're like really pretty.
okay. Is this like her? Does she do a show, or does she sing, or is this just her spot?
She's an influencer.
Ah, well, then she needs to influence more people to get on the show. She needs to influence more people to join shows like this.
She's freaking really, really awesome.
Nice. Yeah, she poked in there, and then she was messaging. So, yeah, I was saying hi and sharing with her some history that we have in common. So, but definitely. And then it was just interesting, because I remember you were leaving, and like the other people were like, before I even like got down there, they were like, "Oh yeah," and afterwards we're going. I'm like, "Where?" And nobody had it put together. So that I didn't even meet Jason that night until like we were all just around the fire pit, and you didn't get to go because you were like between the kids and the grandkids and I was like, okay. But now that I've seen your wife, I'm like, oh my God, we would have had a blast. We just sat around. It was cold. So it was just a fire and talking. And then we found out that my son's name is down on the wall down there that same night. And it was Mark Peterson. So Mark Peterson came, and they're with People's Patriot Project. And so I met a few people down there that were, just good people. I don't even know another word. What I call it is real people. So, and I'm country, and I'm proud of it. But God, country, and I won't finish the rest of that. But only because of the new community standards and rules. So, man, what wisdom do you have to offer, Aaron? I mean, that many children, that history. I mean, as moms, and what do we say to these people who are telling us we don't belong, and because they weren't killed overseas, they don't matter?
Everybody's lives matter, and everybody make a decision to serve their country. So you've got something that is more rare than pretty much, having a doctorate or something like that. You're basically, what I'm trying to say is their legacies, and they didn't die in vain, and they didn't die for a reason. They didn't die for no purpose. And that's the same thing that I've dealt with, transition out of the service, that, because, like, for instance, I ran resupplying convoys and medical accountability for 8 months when I was in Iraq in a command operations center. Did I kick indoors? No. Susceptible to indirect fire. They took 77 rounds of indirect fire in October alone. The first day I was there, we took 12 rounds of indirect fire. So, staying like within a couple, 500 to 1,000 feet of a flight deck that's operating 24/7 all day, every day during combat missions, resupplying missions, airdropping food, troops. You fire back azimuth artillery rounds, mobile howitzers going off outside of, the building that you're in. You're susceptible to things like that. And in their eyes is, you didn't shoot a gun, you didn't fire your weapon, so you're not, at the same level as us. And I would beg to differ, because at this point in my life, I still can't really be around dry erase markers. So is that insignificant? I was in a position working with under a 2-star general and a colonel, and some high up authority figures, people that are admirals now and stuff like that. Was it insignificant? No. At some point, is the being, everybody in my unit at that particular time, because like I said, I got NJP'd, right? Everybody at that particular time on that deployment received a NAM, which is a Navy Accommodation Medal. What did I get? Because I was a private first class. A letter of appreciation. So, like, my same job that I did, under the NCOs and everything, I worked at night, all day, at night. Even during Phantom Fury and Al Fajr, we were working 24 on, 24 off. I was in the Command Operations Center. That's all I did. That's what I lived and breathed. I still had my combat rig, everything that I needed to do with my job outside of providing security for the corpsman and my commanding officer and everything, working in the S1 shop. I could shoot 500, 800 feet out dead. I had dual expert badges. I had my campaign ribbons, all that shit. So, like, it really comes down to, like, who's got the bigger, like, chest of ribbons and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's, everybody was there to do a job. Everybody had a purpose. Everybody had a position. Everybody had a job to do. Being on, not having that accountability, not having that recognition, it sucks. And a lot of people need that. A lot of people want that. A lot of people, do what they do because they care about the person to the left of them, right, and to the right of them more than they do their own self. Spend all that time training and preparing and living with people that aren't your own blood. You're willing to lay down your life, sacrifice for them at any given point. You signed a contract that doesn't have an end date, right? I don't look at me getting out of the service or EASing as ever having an end date. I'm a patriot. I support the Constitution, no matter what. And there's certain things that people need to stand up for, just like Martin Luther King stood up for unjust laws.
Mm-hmm.
being willing to face the consequences of things that are, at some point it was, illegal for people to drink out of certain water fountains in this country. Like that's absolutely crazy. But to get back, not get off a soapbox, but it's just, what's the end game here? If you're asking me about their certain situation, I mean, there's certain people that have passed away in this country in the line of duty on this soil that have Purple Hearts. So, like, what's the difference?
Interesting. I never thought about that part.
That's
interesting.
It's all a show. I went to the movie theater when I was 19, when I was 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and got recruited to join the Marine Corps. So, like, what is it? Like we weren't forced to join. We weren't made to join. We joined and served our country. It's the same thing as like people saying that you're not a veteran because you didn't deploy. That doesn't make any sense to me either. You're a veteran. You served this country. You did an outstanding job. You didn't just join. Because if you join the military and you get kicked out, it's worse than a felony. If you get dishonorably discharged out of the military for any reason, it is more stringent than a felony.
Wow.
And I've got a lot of friends that have been incarcerated because when you join the military, you're institutionalized. You're stripped of what you have, your innocence, everything, and you've got a brand new identity, whether it's Rangers, paratroop, or PJs, or whatever it is that you want to do, recon, fucking you're an admin guy, whatever it is, right? Like for me, I joined the Marine Corps. And Marine Corps, they train everybody to be exactly what they need you to be, a rifleman. First and foremost, everybody's indoctrinated into that. You go off to your jobs, whatever. It costs, during the Iraq War, from what I've read and I've studied, $1.5 million for somebody to go to boot camp, go through all their 4 years, go to Iraq and come back home. $1.5 million, but it's not worth any of their time to like transition people back out of the military.
That's right.
So I think it's a disservice to people, and it's a shame that you have people like myself that have to go 15 years without benefits, have to go through that because I've got friends that are missing legs that, they are in the same boat too. Like
right.
Something wrong there.
Yeah, the VA, I mean, we've had unfortunately a lot of experience. And what happens is what I'm finding out is my son's unit, when someone gets out or something, then they try to find me. This only happened a few times, but there's one that, man, thank God he's alive, walking, relearning everything. And there's one, and I can't say who, but the way they got put out, I was like, whoa, you really don't understand. And if you knew the story, you'd be like, are you kidding me? Like they were put out of the military for that? I'm like, yeah, it's true. I'm not against the military. I'm against the people that misbehave and the things that get done that shouldn't be done. So I'm all about speaking up, stepping up, and teaching that to my kids. And I definitely taught that to my son in there. So he was, my gosh, many times I was like, son, you're going to go stand toe to toe. Go do it. Like, that's what we do. That's the kind of people we are. So, like I said, I got lucky except for one commander. There's always one. And I'm like, go toe to toe. But yeah, him being stuck in Iraq, I was like, okay, this is the worst thing. I made it through that. and a phone call from him saying, "Mom, I'm locked up in Iraq by our own military." I'm like, what? Now, talk about a mom who almost jumped on a flight to Iraq. Like, that's how I think. Like, and I was like, oh, shoot, hold on. Before I go to Iraq, I better get some calls made. And it was the dumbest thing. It was like, a husband and wife that were married were both in the military. The husband, I guess, had an affair, tried to claim that he had extra days off because my son gave him extra time off when they were deployed. They get R&R. Well, thank God Adam was on an airplane to Kuwait, because this woman, they were believing her, like the females. So a lot of males who speak up, they don't get listened to either. This is not just about females. We talk about females a lot, but I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what the heck? And I was like, son, I don't care what we have to do. You stand up and I'm going to get you out of there. But yeah, he had to wait till a commander flew over, investigated, and made sure he was not part of that whole thing. And I don't know what would have happened if he hadn't been on an airplane flying to deploy. If they would have accepted like the evidence we already had. It was like we had to have like irrefutable evidence, and then his career speaks volumes already, right? And one of the most heartbreaking things for me also is that I lost all that time with him, and then now you're going to kill him on our own soil, and you don't know the whole story. So be careful, people, because if you knew the whole story, you don't want these people doing to my son, to yours. So when you take that oath, foreign and domestic, there's a reason there's a domestic oath. So not only that, there's a reason that you have checks. There's a reason that you have units. You have buddy checks. You have all sorts of accountability of a unit, a troop, a commander.
Well, good.
Well, I was going to get to it.
Because of the Smitty check. And it's stupid because,
yes,
come on, this is all just written in your creeds and your oaths.
Right.
I think about the NCO creed, where it talks about the welfare of your soldier being the very most important thing. And yeah, I mean, it's in this world, in this day and age, like we have these dumb moments like, oh yeah, we should be battle buddies, right? And we should, in a small unit, 8 to 10 people, be able to do a quick face-to-face check and make sure that somebody is accounted for. Technology cannot be that thing that decides whether somebody's okay or not. You, especially if there's a medical concern or a emotional concern, like you need to go check on your people, follow orders, and responsibility is the reason why Caleb died. And that's why the Army secretary found it important to write a new Army policy, because of the egregiousness of Caleb's death. I mean, what are you going to do when you leave a 19-year-old kid after having hit his head on a trackline vehicle working on a M105 earth mover, like they're about to deploy? He's, it's like, what do you do? Like, he's, for 6.5 days laying up in his barrack room with nobody checking on him after he's gone to the doctor twice, and nobody's heard from Smitty. Everybody's lying about it, having heard from him, and nobody wants to admit that they failed. And the colonel can't even remember what he did in response to Caleb's death 3 years later. And they didn't validate the investigation at all. It's just like insane.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can leave someone in a room for 6 days who'd already been to the emergency room because they hit their head on one of the vehicles training. And then for 6 days, no one even notices that you're gone. Like, I don't understand how that happens. Like, there's no way. I can tell you, if it was my son's unit, it wouldn't matter what commander was there. He would look and be like, wait, there's someone missing out of this. Does anybody know where he is? Like, I know that. It's like, where's he at?
They used the excuse that it was a 4-day holiday, but in real actuality, they had plenty of time to check on Smitty before the holiday began and after the holiday, because Caleb was found deceased on the 21st of January, 2020, after he missed morning formation, he missed morning PT, he missed a doctor's appointment, and he missed work in the motor pool, which is ridiculous.
Normally you're in trouble for that.
Exactly. And so they didn't check on him until 2:30 in the afternoon on the 21st of January, and then notified me on the 22nd of January that it's like, it was just like, if we don't, and I'm so grateful for the Army Secretary, because if we don't hold people accountable on this level, it's just going to continue to happen.
Right. So Heather, you should let them know. It's called Smitty Check. I've got it up by you right there. That's Smitty, like his silhouette.
And we do have a website, calebsmither.com.
And I've had that running too, but it's called Smitty Check. So there is something that is happening that's come through this that Heather's been fighting for, and it is called the Smitty Check. And you know what that means? It means Smitty checks. It means check on your people.
Check on your battle buddy.
Yes. And not just in the military. I mean, but I want to extend that a little further. But
Cicada going crazy.
I mean, if you hadn't shown up for work in 6 days anywhere else, what is that?
Oh my God.
Is that one of those locust things?
It attacked you.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Somebody's gonna take a picture of my face like that. Was that one of those locusts? Is that a locust?
Cicada.
A what?
It's a cicada.
Are those also called locusts?
No, locusts are bigger.
Because in Tennessee right now, locusts are coming out. They're coming up out of the ground to breed, and they are crazy right now. Yeah, it only happens like once every, I can't remember how many years, but I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like, I remember being a kid, like when it happened, because it hadn't happened in a long time. And I was like, what the heck is this? Whatever that cicada, I've never seen one. I guess it just popped in there, or is it a pet? Is it a pet, Heather, or it's just something? Is that your pet, Aaron?
No, I had the door open and it flew into my face.
Oh, I was like, what the heck?
And attacked by the cicada. Well, thank you so much for sharing your amazing music and your journey, your heart. And
thank you.
Yeah,
if you want to hear music, Heather, we can end it with yours, and that way we go out.
Good. I don't have anything of that ready. I think we're here.
I hear you.
Some other time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not a on the spot situation right now, ma'am.
No.
Like
we would need. Exactly.
We're good to go right now.
We are good to go. Same here. So, but
thank you guys so much.
Yes. No, Aaron, it's been great catching up with you and your wife, Rihanna. I'm glad I met her finally. Yes, and we'll have to catch up with you and see what's going on. If you're playing somewhere soon, maybe in Houston, are you playing somewhere that we can tell people to check you out?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'll be in touch.
Well, so much love to our military and friends. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love you guys so much. And we're just
here. And cancer sucks.
That's all. That's what this is all about, is just having each other's back.
Yeah.
Usually 6, I say, hey, a link in the chain that was broken. We're just here to spread the, just a little bit of community love and support.
And educate a little bit of that too, because they don't understand our world. So until you understand that world, there's really, I mean, I'm sorry I say it. It's like, just keep your mouth shut. How's that? Like, if you don't know what to say, or you could ask, actually, I would be fine with someone asking, but I would tell you 9 times out of 10, that person that has lost theirs would rather have you include them and invite them than do the opposite. So it is the best thing when they're like, hey, you know what? Like, would you like to come join us? We're going to do this. It's like, even with the veterans and the artists like that I'm connected to and then get Heather connected to, it's like, I don't know, we form our own community.
We just
And
want to remember our kids. We want to remember their beautiful light on this planet that was burned out too soon, and what they stood for, and how they felt about, Caleb loved, and wanted to serve so badly. 17, he was ready to go. I'm like, Caleb, please, can you just graduate from high school? You're doing so good. I was like, not like him in high school.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Popular. So I was just like, hey, just hang out a little bit longer, but he was just like, he was ready to go. He had such high dreams and aspirations.
What's interesting too, Heather, is that if you go look, I wonder if we've got a picture in here. If you go look at Caleb, oh, you know what I do have? I'm sorry, I do have to show this to y'all because we did this at Fort Hood recently. And I just saw that we have this picture, and I was letting you all talk. What I want to show this really quick. It's blocking our screen. I don't know if the two of you can see it. Can you see it? Okay, good. So you've got Joey's there on my left, which would be, as Heather's viewing it, probably, is it on your right?
No, it's on my left.
Okay.
Joey, and then Caleb is on the right.
Caleb's on the right and 2 steps in the middle. So you got 2 steps, Smitty and Joey right there. And that was just last week, I think. But this is what I want to also show that people don't know is there. And they're always asking like, why the heck would you go there? And I'm like, look at this. This is one little bitty section, of this building that has been built for the families. It's like, even you, Aaron, like you can go up in there and like, it's a great building and like functions that could be done. And like, so we're going to get a concert going there too. But I did want to show that. That room is big though. I mean, the walls are too full of people as it is, but there's a living area. There's all kinds of stuff, but being able to do a concert at the base, pretty easy. I know I'm getting laughed at right now by JMT because I was like, you always say everything's easy. And I'm like, well, it is if you just ask. So between music, that's what I mean, gathering people together, just educate and get along. It's like, life's already been hard. Okay. When you have your house and you like are missing a child, I mean, should you go further? Should you really have to even discuss it further? It's like, no, not me, but some people do. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I never will, but I will always speak up. I will always stand up, and I will always try to do what's right. I'm sorry. That is just the good old code that I go by, and that's just like real people. So it's like, I can't see something. This is bad, man. Like so bad. Like I can't see something and not do something about it. So
and that's why this is called
That's how I get in trouble. That's how I get in trouble. What is it? Inside the wire. Yeah. So I got to keep myself inside the wire, but I'm not afraid to go outside of it, meaning if I got to go toe to toe about fixing this law, I got to go toe to toe to help another person that's struggling in there. I don't have a problem doing it. It's probably easier than the stuff I've already done. So my point is, you meet your people along the way, and those are the people that you were meant to find. So if all we do is educate and help someone understand who we are and what we are, and that, it takes so much to hurt one word to say to us, you don't belong, you're not this, you're not that. Listen up. If you lost your child, I can tell you right now, there's no way in hell I would look at you and say, your child didn't matter. That's balls. People that go there on like, are we like in like a horse farm? Like, where am I living right now? Because this is not like, what's the Ellie Mae show? Like, popped up from the ground and Ellie Mae's on it. And what's his name? What's that show, Aaron? Beverly Hillbillies. Like,
I got a,
Beverly Hillbillies have moved to the country.
I got a crazy thing to tell you.
Uh-oh.
I don't think you'll believe it, but
You probably will.
like everybody's so wants, recognition and stuff like that. And just I joined the VFW a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I can or cannot say on here, but
Well, you can't use the F word a lot. You can't use the.
Yeah, I know that. I got the text.
Yeah, he sent me a message too. But I was like, see, so the new rules and regulations for anyone watching right now on a particular social media platform is you can't now use words that are how someone might not be okay.
I learned the hard way on that one too on my platforms. So
and it hurt me big time. I was like, I'm not letting this happen to anyone else.
But besides the point, so I served in I joined the Marine Corps. I served in Iraq. So like I don't need anybody to tell me that I did that.
Right.
Anybody that's ever told me thank you for your service, I thank them back, right? Well, when I moved to Texas, I became the commander of the VFW in Dickinson, Texas. And I was basically put into a situation because the post that was in Bay Cliff, Texas, and Dickinson merged together like this right about the same time that a little bit after I became a commander anyway. There was a lot of situations going on there. Well, like I was transitioning out and I was still getting help and everything. I was actually the vice commander that ended up somebody jumped ship. So I jumped into it. I didn't even have a career or anything going on right then and there. Well, my quartermaster and I both got kicked out of the VFW. We got kicked out of the VFW because we were fighting for the canteen, either to be smoking or non-smoking, or drinking or non-drinking liquor, whatever. Anyway, well, the problem is the post, whoever was high up in the post at Dickinson also was high up at national level in the VFW. So when they went to kick me out, the problem is it takes 60 days or 90 days, something like that, where you have to submit your information. So I'm a post 9/11 veteran. So everything was at Quantico, right? So when I submitted my information to the National Archives, they sent it back to me. Actually, they sent it back to the VFW national headquarters that they were submitting the information to Quantico because that's where my records were at. Well, whoever was at that post that was a member was at national level, held on to that information for a certain amount of time to where after it lapsed, they sent it all to me and I was kicked out of the VFW. Is that crazy?
It doesn't surprise me. It is to me.
Anyone that I serve my country, and you don't need any recognition or anything from anybody. What your sons did, it was a godsend that they sacrificed and served their country honorably. They didn't do anything disrespectful, and it's a disservice. You got people that want to stroke their egos and things like that are running businesses out of organizations, taking money, getting knockoffs. And you got somebody like me that's just trying to get back into life and given an opportunity to, be part of an organization that I really loved and cared about and they fucking kicked. I'm sorry, they
Effing.
they
I
ousted
say fudge.
They ousted me, even though I have a legitimate tour of duty in Iraq. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you on some?
Member of the VFW now.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
It took 2.5 years to get over that. My wife's like,
that is an organization that has.
And I don't know what I can or cannot say, but at the end of the day, like everybody just wants to live a life and get on and find closure. That it's just it's crazy to me. Like that story is so dumb and crazy. People don't believe it, but it really happened.
Heather's got a story at a VFW too.
Yeah, I mean, I even called the office at. It's crazy that they're the ones that legit say that I
don't belong.
Confront them and say, hey, I am a Gold Star mom, just FYI, because they'll say that the only way you can be a Gold Star mom is if you have a son that dies in combat. And so anyway, I'm just saying that's what they've said to me. I know in different cities, it's maybe, I know Margie, she's had some good experiences with the VA there. So I don't want to, I'm sorry, the
VFW.
And I don't want to throw everybody in the same basket, but I mean, I tried to call the Texas, down in Austin, the VFW there, and I asked them to please describe to me what a Gold Star mother or family is. And the guy, I was trying to explain to him what kept happening, and he told me that I was being the one that was discriminating, and that I was the one that was causing the trouble. I'm like, no. I'm standing there at a event, and they're speaking and saying what the Gold Star family is, and this is what they're saying, and I'm trying to ask you to please define it for me so I understand where my place is what I told him. And he was confronted by me, and so he didn't know what to say and how to answer it. And so I actually have the conversation. I recorded it. But anyway, it was just very sad.
It's not right.
So I kind of, we were talking about earlier, choose your battles,
right.
All are flies, and these organizations are all flies, and just trying to, what I'm saying, they're trying to distract me. Not that they're flies, but that what's occurring and the drama behind it is a distraction to my mission. And so, you have to stay grounded. You've got to stay, focused on the actual mission and not be distracted by all the negativity there, and just live, learn to live, which is, Aaron, that's what I hear you saying, is that, it's all about living, and you have somebody in your life that's grounded you, which has probably taught you how to just be more grounded in general. And then we just do everything we can to live and take care of life, because at the bare bones of the military, the charge is to uphold and protect life. And so,
and they have. So Heather, me, I can't get into too much right now, except to say that when it comes to if you are or you aren't, how do I put it? You're able to say some things, Heather, but I am in the middle usually of a lot of things. But something I did not see coming at me was what happened to you, Heather, on a very, very big scale. And so my biggest fight right now has been a very, very large fight. So,
Yeah. Well,
I'm hoping it's coming to an end soon. But for anybody listening out there, I want you to know that what's the song? I won't back down. I won't back down. I'm telling you, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. I don't care. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're a president of a company. I really don't care. I will explain to you how this works. And you cannot tell me this answer. Every veteran service organization is allowed to make up their own rule of who is a gold star and who isn't. The hell they are. The DOD tells us right there whether if the line of duty's cleared and is it a GD 1300 that you want? Yeah. You just don't have a field to put USA in. So I am in the middle of something, but I want everyone to listen to me. Just because there's a nonprofit out there, that nonprofit is not the person who made the laws, okay? Whatever they say is not be all end all. Be careful what you believe by looking up a nonprofit and their beliefs, because their beliefs are not the law. So you can have your own bylaws, but I'm telling you right now, anything to do with the subjects we're talking about, whether good, whether bad, I want you to do your research, and I want you to understand, don't go there. I mean, there may be organizations saying, hey, great, do good work. I want you to. I want a bunch of organizations, but don't go hurting people when misleading information is right there that we have to get from the military. And it's like, this is pretty easy. Like, number one, you are supposed to ask one thing. Were they active duty? Yes.
Well, and when you say it from a pulpit, when you say it from a speaking stand, and you say you're educated,
I would have needed bail money.
Families, that's educating the public because people don't know. And so you have an organization like the VFW educating the public and saying the only way you can be this is if you have a service member that dies in combat. That's not true. That's
not true.
Not true. And then it causes other people in the community to think that same thing. And
anybody that wants to send me a message, there is something right now, and we're at the bottom end of it, which is a good thing, but you can't speak. I believe that there are a lot of good people out there. I do believe that if anyone ever tries to come to my home again on a Memorial Day, or Heather, we got to go somewhere that's very special to Adam's little brother. And, at the beginning, it looked like that. It's up in your corner. It's just the Gold Star Memorial, and it kept building and building. And I'm hoping I have the picture in here of the dog. I have Uz right there. But I was hoping I had Z and the memorial we went to, because it was just Adam's birthday.
My question is, do they have, okay, so whatever that, I'm not going to get into it, but like, have they given like when somebody tries to prove or disprove what you're saying, do they give an alternative to it? Like, are you getting a party favor? Like when you go to, your friend's birthday party when you were 6 years old and you got a bag of candy at the end of the party, is like that what you're supposed to get?
You get nothing. You get told you don't belong.
Because
you literally get told that.
But
there's no parting gifts.
At the end of the day, like I said earlier, there's people that have gotten Purple Hearts in this country.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that one. That's a very good argument for something that's happening.
Like how that works out too.
Because, I mean, that plays into something right now, because I'm like, wait a minute, that is an angle maybe that might work. Heather knows about it. Can't say anything again. What little she knows, she can say.
Well, here's what Tracy's having to do. She's having to
prove
that we are Gold Star mothers, that we are like, I mean, I'm not kidding. Like I was given this by my CAC officer, And he said that, and he told me, "You're a Gold Star mother. My son died in the line of duty."
Yes. So it's your DD 1300. Yeah. And you're cleared in your line of duty and your active duty.
Here's my pass.
Yeah. And the only difference is if it's overseas, it's a purple. They both have a star. We're all Gold Star.
Okay.
I think it's ridiculous. So be careful. There are nonprofits out there that set up their own guidelines. That's the problem. And so then you start believing it. And so recently when I was told, well, different veteran service organizations have their own definitions. Oh, are you kidding me? You're going to tell me the definition of a color can change because of a organization, or the definition of a car or anything? We're just all going to start making up our own definitions for everything in this damn world. No, we're not. Seriously, especially involving the military. Are you kidding? I am not dumb. I was not born yesterday or today. So when I say I'm not backing down, I am not backing down. I'm sorry. If you'd like to help, you'd like to
They denied me from being part of Semper Fi Fund.
What?
They denied me from being part of Semper Fi Fund because they said that my PTSD that resulted from me being in combat didn't have the word combat in it. And I don't have a combat action ribbon.
Oh, what in the world? That is...
It is what it is, you know?
Yeah, but it's the same kind of stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, like, they opened up Semper Fi Fund to all branches of the service. It used to be the Marine Corps. So they've opened that up to, like, the Army and everybody.
Oh.
So when I was at the show, I met a guy and he was like, "Hey man, reach out to Semper Fi Fund." I reached out to Semper Fi Fund. They're like, "Hey, shoot us over your 35 disabilities from the VA." So I sent it over there. Never heard back from him at all. Period. End of story.
Yep.
Because it doesn't say the word combat in my PTSD rating.
So see, it's
you
a real
get that changed.
But I was there, so like, I went 15 years without benefits anyway. So like, how are you going to tell me it's not relevant?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's not okay. But what you did do.
Scotty told me to reach out to him. He's like, "Hey man, reach out to him." They helped me with some music equipment and stuff like that. I'm like, "Okay, cool."
But there is someone, by the way, Aaron. Do you know Malachi?
No.
In Tennessee? Okay. He goes by Doc. Good friend, not only of mine, but Scotty knows him. Someone else you mentioned. No.
I got the text. Yep.
Yep. That's between us. Doc, Malachi, that's what he did for years. He just retired. He can point you in the right direction. I know that. If I was to trust anybody in that area, that's the man that you get in touch with. I mean, and he's rocking his music right now. He's part of the Stop 22. You may want to get a hold of them. And you get along with them great. I mean, really, it's just getting out there and staying between all of us that are out there, whether it's veterans or me or whoever. But just get out there and meet them, and you'll be like, "Man, this is good."
We're all just
he would tell you how to do that.
A little support, just
At the end of the day, like, I got my toolbox back together over the last 15 years, my wife, my kids, everything, my career.
Yeah.
It took me, I've worked this career for 8 years now. I've worked all the way up to the highest level I can be in the field in my company. So like, I go anywhere and everywhere in the world and operate, and it's a blessing. I don't want to be on the road though, but again, God's provided me an opportunity, and I've always wanted to have a big family. I've always wanted to, to serve my country. And I've always wanted to just get back home and find a place to call home. It took a long time to do that. A lot of places. I moved every year when I was in college. Every year, I was always on the move. I was never comfortable where I was at. I always had the mentality of covering my tracks. Like always being, constantly on the move. It's like I was just, like I said, I was in such intensive outpatient treatment when I was at the VA, when I was in college. They're like, we don't understand how.
Hey, love.
Yes, love.
I'm going to bed.
All right, I'll be in. I don't know how you're operating right now. Like,
I was like, Brianna, I heard that. I just looked at the clock because I need glasses. And I'm like, does it say 2 hours? And like, I'm like, we all just could like go on and on and on because we've got so much to share. So I get it. I heard her say that, and I was like,
oh no, I'm going to
she's
bed.
right.
He can do his thing. I'm going
she's
to bed.
done.
I'm tired.
No, I get it. No, I get it. It's we'll probably break this segment into 2 parts in order to upload it for Apple and iHeart and everything. We want to make sure that not only we have the music in there, but then we have the real talk that is happening. I got a message today. It's the first time it's happened so far where it's like this gentleman that worked 3 years in the presidential office and then worked jobs that I'm like, I'm not really sure. Am I supposed to talk to this person or not? But between our show, what is going out on audio goes out as the podcast, Patriots Inside the Wire. On live, you'll find it on, YouTube, Facebook, X. But remember that we will have this put out. And so then we have people that come back going, hey, what's going on? Like right now, I was just looking. And again, like I've said, the most compassionate, like involved people I've ever seen on a platform is X right now. And so it's interesting, Heather, we'll have to remember that going forward on our Monday nights. Obviously, to everyone out there, we will not do 3 hours.
Yes.
And you don't have to listen for 3 hours because I will break it up into a segment of 2 shows for part 1, part 2. So that we get Aaron in there and then we get the music and we get it all going for Patriots Inside the Wire. You can check it out at patriotsinsidethewire.com. It's been great tonight. I agree with Brianna. It has been a long day, a great day. It has been a great day. Seeing you again, Aaron, that solidified it, jumping in here and loved the song. Can't wait to hear more. If you're a late night person, like tonight, I'm not because I was up all night doing computer stuff. But normally I stay up at night. Like I just have issues with sleep. I'm like, ever since he was in Iraq, I stay up at night and long story. And I write. Like that's my creative time. So
all right, love you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Okay.
Smitty checks are through Heather. You will see her again next Monday nights, an hour. Our show in Patriots Inside the Wire is 1 hour. So we will see you next Monday. It has been great to have a Gold Star Mom show. And we're going to keep growing. So get in touch with us on a Military Monday for Gold Star families. Thank you once again, Heather. It's been great having you as a host. And I'll see you on Military Monday next week. Aaron, same thing. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being with us. You're always welcome. Please follow us at Patriots Inside the Wire. Good night, everyone. Wait before you log off, Heather. We have one thing that I know he would want you to hear. So before everyone goes, and then we're saying bye, I want you to hear this real quick and immediate, Heather. You're going to know what it is.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.
Did you hear that? Sergeant Adam, my brother, Two-Step. That was Cash. So, you know, like, subscribe, share. That is the little brother. Heather knows him. So I wanted her to hear him trying to do his cadence voice. But it's been beautiful. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it. We're going to break it up. So, man, we got 2 shows out of it. So, again, Military Mondays, usually 1 hour, 50 minutes is where we keep it. We'll make sure to do that for you. We can't wait to see you again. Wednesdays, we usually have, you never know. Like right now, it's between Ted Nugent and someone else. So you never know what's going to happen on a Wednesday on the show. Military Monday is always Military Monday. Gold Star Mom, Heather Baker, and Sergeant Two Steps with Tracy right here. You'll see us on Mondays. Send us some information at patriotsinsidethewire.com. Follow us, like, subscribe. Stay tuned. We have a lot more coming to you. Aaron, again, thank you for being with us, and we appreciate your service. And we will see you soon. Good night to everyone, and thank you for joining us.